8 hours is nasty.
Early 2019, 2018.
Lafayette, Mandela, Baby Fahoudie, it's your favorite warrior, Black Panther, in the building today. It is a special day, a special broadcast day. Unbeknownst to me, about 2 months ago, I discovered that it was 10 years of the Mossi warrior clan. You know, when you put your head down and you keep doing this work, man, you don't really feel how much time has went by. You don't feel how much time you've been putting into this. You're living in the moment. You're creating stuff, you're studying, you're presenting information to the people, you're traveling, you're reporting on findings, you go through relationships, things happen, all the products we have produced as a collective. It doesn't feel like 10 years, but it is. It's been 10 years of the Mossi Warrior clan. And I called up all the comrades because I felt like that needed to be acknowledged. And a good friend of mine out of Baltimore, Baba Imhotep, told me that you got to celebrate stuff like that. You know, he has his own company in PLM, and they celebrate their accomplishment, their milestones, so to speak. And people should do the same thing, no matter if you got two people or 28. You know, you should celebrate um, the milestones that you have as an organization. So before we get too far down this road, man, I just want to shout out all the members of the Mossi Warrior Clan. Shout out to brother Nahisi. Hope he can make the show. Brother Amin Ma'at Ra, author of I believe 6 books. It's 6 at least. Uh, my Senegambian cousin Aziz, who's always fighting pseudos on TikTok. with the Medu. Shout out to him. Shout out to Fortune Favorite out of the Shy, talented brother, musically talented brother, intellectually. Shout out to brother Sean. He's dealing with a bit of an emergency right now, but he'll be on later. Shout out to brother JC, man, the architect, a beast with the Oculus, and one of the early people that was really on this AI movement right now. So shout out to him. Shout out to brother Michael Hope, urban historian, man, a principal up there in the DMV area, man. Always been surgical with the scholarship. My brother to my right, brother Kofi Piche, man. What can I say, man? Kofi not only joined us, he took this thing to another level, man. Kofi branched outside of his comfort zone, made a podcast, became a serious author. I don't even know how many books Kofi got. I stopped counting. I try to buy all of them. I might be missing a few, but Kofi, man, he took this thing to another level with his magazine. Just really branched outside of the norm. And then we got my brother below, man. You know, a founding member of the Mossi Warrior Clan. The one of the brain children of the Mossi Warrior Clan. When things went south with another group, and we figured out we needed to develop a young team to take information to the next level, and that's Unc the God Killer, man. I'm happy you're here. I'm happy that I could bring you on the show, brother. And every one of us on this panel, every one of us in the Mossi Warrior Clan has had influence from you, and that is the truth. That is the truth. Without Unc the God Killer, regardless of how whoever feels about him, there is no Mossi Warrior Clan. There is no Kofi Piche TV. There is no Science with Sean. There is no Aboriginal Slayer. There's none of these things, man, without Unc. Seriously, and people can quote me on that. They can clip it. They can make it a sound bite. But I'm saying, as Black Panther of the Mossi Warrior Clan, that none of this is a thing without Unc West, without Unc the God Killer, man. So I've talked enough. Y'all can talk for yourselves, man. How y'all doing today?
We good. Hey, can I read something though? I need to
Absolutely.
read something, man. Listen. And I appreciate that opening right there. And this whole thing is deep and it come full circle, right? And we've been through our thing. I'm glad you had a chance to really talk to Dr. Mayat. And Kofi know me and Sean have been through our thing. Kofi ain't picked no sides. It's crazy how we do it. But we did it for the best interest of what we felt like was right. Right? And that's important. And we carried it like men. But I'm still. I say that daggone Ben kick me out that damn group. The Amaral squad, that's cool, right? But right here, man, this is my baby right here. This how I keep my roots in Africa. Right here, this man kicked me out. I was like, Sean, did you vote to get me out? No,
Here we
nothing.
go.
Kofi.
Here we go.
I want to know anyway.
Here we go.
But let me tell you something, bro. This is serious. Sometimes, yo, out of the ashes come the phoenix. Yo, you was the right leadership for that right there, bro. And you know what I'm saying? When you was going through it with when it goes in there with the Team Osiris, it wasn't mixing. You wanted more tradition, they wanted straight science. And I was like, nah, Ben serious dude. They couldn't get along. I say, well, let's do something, right? And I'm gonna read the statement. Let's do something, man. Let's come on, something that can be to you, right? Me, you, let's do it. West Africa, that's what you really love. You was asking, you was a ferocious student, right? And you became a ferocious teacher. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even talk to people about West Africa unless I'm going through you. Right? You, Sean, like we want to talk Africa. I'm talking about the real tradition. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna holler at y'all. That's what I do. Kofi know it, right? But your leadership is what got us right here. Wasn't my if it was left to my leadership, it would all fell down, tore down. Cause that's what I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's what it do sometimes. Like I can get us only but right here. And I always needed somebody to say, yo, you know what? I want to be better than you. I want to be more serious about this particular thing. And you did that, bro. And so, yo, big up and quote me on that. Big up to Ben. That Mossi has gotten this far, not because of me, because of Ben. So you can start something, but don't be the right temperament for it. Like, you know, leaders make tough decisions. And that had to be a damn tough decision for you to kick me out that damn group. I was like, what, nigga? But it was, you know what I'm saying? And that's out of all this, it's the only thing that ever hurt me. The Armor All Squad, whatever, we good. But that Mossi thing, it hurt. But look, let me tell you why it hurt. Watch this. This where it started right here with Chancellor Williams, right here. My favorite read. I used to read it once a year, now I read it every 2-3 years. But it's right here, it says, this what motivated me for this. It says, the great prophecy of the Mossi turned out to be the prophecy of all Africa. When the first white man appears in the land, the nation will die. And it was that statement right there that made me realize, yo, if your mind ain't clear, right? There's no white people showing about at outdoor. But if your mind is not clear, right, and where you come from and where you grounded at, yo, you'll fall for anything and then you done. So it was this Mossi prophecy that kind of motivated the name of the group, Mossi. I'm like, man, that's my favorite African group because they was anti-Islam, anti-Christianity, and anti-foreign. They never let them in. They built special organizations to deal with the people and kept them on the outside. So, you know, for me, I always felt like, you know, African Americans, Black Americans should always keep those religions on the outside and have enough heart, right? To go ahead and look into their groups. So yeah, I just wanted to start that thing off with this, man. And big up to Sean. Crazy Sean is crazy.
Facts.
Sean is crazy.
It started
But
with
that's real.
work for sure. That's
What's up, everybody? What's going on, Cover? What up, Ben? What up, Aunt?
what up, boy.
What's up? Good.
It's wild morning this morning, man. But I'm here, man. I just deal with what I gotta deal with in a minute. um, but peace to everybody in the chat. Appreciate everybody tapping in. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you're liking the stream, sharing the stream. We're here. We're all here. We know why we're here. You know what I mean? We've been at it for quite some time. Um, we've been putting in a lot of work. People, you know, they try to act like they don't see it, but they do. And we're going to continue that work. And we know that people are seeing the work because of there's some things that are circulating around that continue to pop up in people's algorithms to let them know that we're doing the work. So um, I'm gonna fight my fight. Everybody got a fight that we're fighting, and everybody got a position we uphold and we kind of stick to. And we're gonna continue that because we're fighting for the hearts and minds of our people, our existence, our history, and everything, our culture, everything that we got here. No matter if you're on a continent or you're outside of the diaspora, it is what it is. I mean, we have some strong shoulders to stand on to be able to carry things forward and be able to then pass that stuff down. We do not want to pass down the misinformation and disinformation to people that are online right now that are going crazy berserk with pseudoisms and just misinformation in our community, which is quickly and easily um, able to just find online. And that's because the algorithm will push out misinformation long before it will give you the truth. And we have to be critical in our analysis of all things that come through. Rather, I don't care what platform it is, but yeah, I just want to say good morning to everybody, man. It's your boy Sean P, and I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you, brother. Brother Enigma 99 says because of the Mossi, I decided to take my ancestry test to find our roots. And that's big right there because way back in 2016, 2015, 2014, when we were talking about, you know, genetic testing, man, and Unc was spearheading genetic testing. It was met with a lot more opposition than it is today. Uh, but we were using that to give people a starting point, because as African Americans, we have a lot of different genetic variances from the continent. You know, you're not going to find one specific ethnic group when you get your genetic testing. So we were pushing that not only for you to find out, you know, your genetic origin point, but when you get all of these different ethnic groups, now you can learn about all of them. Now you can learn about West Africa, because we have to keep it historically accurate. Before we created this initiative, this Mossi warrior clan, West Africa was not in the forefront. It was not a bunch of TikToks about it. It was not a bunch of YouTube videos about it. There was no home team history. There was no you know, these other groups that have come, and I'm glad they're here. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad that they're here, but they didn't exist. Everything, when you talked about consciousness in Black American experience, was mostly aimed toward ancient Egypt. And we tackled ancient Egypt too. But as far as the rest of Africa, they were not at the forefront. They were not being discussed. They didn't have influencers and creators on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and X, and none of that existed before we put together this initiative. So if the history is told correctly, you got to give us our credit for spearheading West Africa, Central Africa, and the rest of Africa to be learned about. So I brought up this graphic for a reason. And this is the last graphic that we've updated. Since then, there's more. It probably covered a whole the whole picture. But the background is the Renaissance Monument in Senegal, which I took this picture when we went out there. But all of these books that you see covering the screen, these are all of our productions by the collective. These are all books that can still be purchased to this day. We got different types of books up here. We got science books, we got spirituality books, we got academic journals, we got children's books, we got poetry books, we got books about religion from Islam and Judaism. We got books about African hair. It's an African hair book that Kofi authored on this book. On this graphic. You got the Spears of the Mossi volumes. You know, there's so many different types of books on the screen that we have collectively produced. So if the story is told correctly, we're not just the internet group. We travel, we produce, we critique, we write. Mossi has a lot of facets to it, man, and it's evolved into something I couldn't even imagine, man. I couldn't even imagine that it's gotten to the point that it's gotten, but I'm happy. And you just gotta tell history accurately, man. You know, we put a lot of work in, man, and we're not done. We're not done. My books ain't even in this graphic. Like, that's how many books. Well, my last book ain't in this graphic. I can tell that. But so, you know, it's so many, man. Like, you forget to promote yourself when you, like I said, when you put your head down and you just start working, man. And people be like, well, where can I support you? And it's just so much stuff. Like, you can't even like tell them you be like, like, hey, you can go here or go there. Like, I try to put the link trees together, but it's a lot of stuff, man. It's a lot of stuff going on, man. Brother Unc got a whole astronomy club, man.
Whole East Asia African Astronomy Club.
They look at the stars.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Serious.
Kofi got a whole podcast where he's talking about authors and the way to empower yourself as an author to where these companies don't take advantage of you when you create these type of products. And if it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't for Kofi, I would have never known some of that stuff.
None of us would.
We were just putting stuff out. We were just putting stuff out, ordering wholesale, going to events, selling our books, having them on Amazon, having them on Lulu, having them on Blurb or whatever you had them on, and getting raped. Getting
Getting
raped.
raw.
Yep. Yep. Right. It don't make sense neither, man. It don't make sense for you to sell your intellectual property. You do all the work, and then you get you sell all your equity. It's your business. You
Mhm.
produce a business and then give all your equity away. That just don't make sense. It just
So
don't
we
make sense.
we got to thank you for putting in, that work on
What?
that subject.
Mm-hmm.
So people now that they can create landing pages just for their books. People know now that they got other options to sell their books. You don't have to go. It's kind of like we were artists back in the early 80s and 90s in music, and how they used to get hit over the head, you know. And Kofi came with the Suge Knight. Hey, have you looked at your paperwork? Have you how Suge Knight told them boys in NWA, hey, have you looked at your paperwork? You looked at
Mhm.
what Jerry Heller giving you?
Mhm.
So that's on the tip Kofi was on, man. And then we had to adjust, like, oh wow, they taking this much. So
Yeah.
it's just something you're going through the game, man. You're going through, you want to put out stuff for your people, and
Yeah.
that's your main focus. But on
Mhm.
the back end, somebody's taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we thank you for doing that. On the merch tip, we got to talk about the merch tip. Came through years ago, probably about 8 years ago now. Uh, I mean, with the shoes, we was all over Atlanta. We was all over the A with the RBGs, man. It was at the August festival. I remember it like it was yesterday. We was at the August festival
Mm-hmm.
selling shoes. We were selling the joints that looked like the Chucks with the African on the side,
Mm-hmm. It's
the
a
first
classic.
RBGs, and Stickman from Dead Prayers came through and bought some. We took that picture. And from there it was running. Different shoes, different ways everywhere. The shirts, this is one of the OG shirts right here. This is
Mhm.
Oh
one.
yeah, that's the oh, you got the joint. That's the
Yeah,
joint.
yeah, this is the OG,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I pull this out and it's got the prophecy on the back that you read
Yeah,
earlier. So
yeah,
I like
yeah.
to wear it around, especially around, they crowds, so they can read
Mm.
it. I be turning around as much as possible. What'd you say?
Yeah.
I be, I be wanting them to read it, but
Let me say this about Kofi. I want to say this. Kofi, man, you was like the perfect. You have a cake, right? And then you need to have that perfect icing on that joint to bring it all together. If the icing is bad, then the whole cake is terrible. You came and put the icing on the cake. You brought the professionalism to the publishing. You educated us, and you pick no sides, bro. That's hard. But we appreciate what you did, starting that brand, right? I even appreciate you moving in a whole different direction to build something, right? And you built that, bro. Like that take heart, that takes skill, right? To just break away from the whole thing and build something, and still be there and still come back and say, okay, now I'm ready. This is what this is. It's like how ideas expand. You got to be able to mix with other people. You feel
Mhm.
me? Like you different beliefs, different understandings, and when you do that, you come back with a whole different worldview. You come back better. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to
Yeah.
appreciate you for having that heart, bro, and that skill set, and that's like the perfect that ice on the cake, bro. Yeah, that be to you, bro. Me
Appreciate
and
it.
Sean might be warriors, but you, bro, yeah, that was it right there. That's it.
Yeah. No doubt. I appreciate all y'all, man, on the panel, man. I remember like everybody on this panel influenced me. I remember I'm gonna tell a story. I remember me and Sean being a part of the Shooow my knee meta. So we was real heavy on Kemet, and we went through um Wujao class, and then from that class we didn't want to we was friends, so we didn't want to let that go. So we started the Shooow. Then Sean came later on, and then y'all had this, I think, this science conference somewhere in Atlanta, and
In
this was my
Atlanta.
first time being introduced to Ben. And Ben was on there. Ben was just coming back from Kemet. He had just came back from Kemet not too long after did the show. So when y'all was letting him speak, I was wondering, like, who was this guy? Because he was talking a lot of stuff, and then he was talking about West Africa. And then later on, uh, what was it called? Sarnetta's TV, what's her name, took it over. He had the edition in Atlanta. And Ben came and did something in West Africa, did a whole presentation on West Africa. And that presentation changed my whole perspective and outlook. I no longer wanted to just take all of my studies, because I had a wall full of nothing but books that's dealing with Kemet. So that it made me switch up my whole thing, where I wanted to start studying West African culture and tradition. And then when Sean came along and joined the Shooow, and Sean was very passionate. And so I don't know how it came about, but we just started doing shows. We just started doing shows on Facebook. We started doing shows on Facebook. And from there, Sean ended up, like, we was just going back and forth. Like, if you seen Sean, you seen me. If you seen me, you seen Sean. And we was always supporting each other. And then Sean became a member of the Mossi. I didn't get mad at all. I didn't get mad at the Mossi when the Mossi was formed, and Sean became a member of the Mossi. At first, I was so happy for Sean. It was like, even if I would have never been invited to be a part of the Mossi, I was just happy that, what I'm saying, Sean became a member of the Mossi. So it was like, when Sean made it, it was like I made it too. Even though I wasn't a member, it was like I made it, because my homeboy, my brother from another mother, made it to somewhere that I'm hopefully want to be like, you know what I'm saying? And the Mossi became a measuring rod for me, right? It became a measuring rod for me, where I wanted to, you know, study and go hard. I wanted to invest more of my money into books, so I can invest more into my mind and understand more about West Africa culture and tradition. And then later on, maybe some months down the line, I got the call, which Sean kind of gave me, some hints about possibly the Mossi wanted me to join the family. And then when I got got that message from Ben, man, I was so excited, man, that they had voted, and they wanted me to be a part of the Mossi, and they appreciate the work, the tons of work that I had been doing on Facebook. And then I transitioned over into YouTube and started working and just trying to share information about West African culture and tradition, because majority of us come from West Africa via Central Africa, and et cetera, man. And me being a part of the group, I've been a part of the group, been in existence for 10 years. I've been a member for 8 years. And I'm just grateful to be a part of this clan, you know what I'm saying? Because it developed me, you know what I'm saying? It developed my growth. And I got some good friendships out of this. Like Sean is my brother, you know what I'm saying? Ben is my brother, you know what I'm saying? Unc is my brother, you know what I'm saying? Outside of this, we got each other phone numbers. If Unc call, I'm gonna pick up, you know what I'm saying? If Sean call, I'm gonna pick up. If Ben call, I'm gonna pick up. We created like a brotherhood, and we all kind of went through our own, gripes or whatever. But I never did pick a side, you know what I'm saying? Because it's this group is family, and I understand, you know what I'm saying, kin folks, brothers, we argue with each other sometimes. We all don't agree with each other. We all fight. That just like I grew up with my brothers. You know, we get out there and we fight and we bust each other nose and you know what I'm saying? We might crack our skin, but you know, we go back in the house. We brothers at the end of the day, we have disagreements, man. But I just want to say, man, I appreciate, man, the Mossi, you know what I'm saying, for uh my development. I appreciate the Mossi for changing my life. I appreciate the Mossi for making me look at the world, you know, through the lens of a West African, making me feel proud to be an African. Because at one point in time in my life, I wasn't proud to be an African because of the propaganda. You know what I'm saying? We all grew up where we seen on TVs the naked babies, the children with the pop bellies, flies hanging out. So it was this propaganda. You know, reading certain things in the textbooks in school that put Africans, you know what I'm saying, not in the light that they need to be in. But I just appreciate this group, man, and the things that we've been able to accomplish, the things that we've been able to do, and the things that we are continuing to do, man. So I appreciate you, brother, you know what I'm saying, for inspiring me to um, understand research and proper research methodology. I think before you arrived on the scene, that was just freelance of information, and you didn't have to have sources to be, you know what I'm saying, to validate the things that you had, man. So you brung that to this so-called social media conscious community thing. You was the first one I seen, you know, on the, you know, pushing that, you know what I'm saying, real hard about sources. You know what I'm saying? You have to cite sources, you know, the proper way of resource, the understanding of primary sources, and et cetera. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate, you know what I'm saying, what you brung, you know what I'm saying, to this community. You know what I'm saying? Because if it wasn't, I'd probably be one of those brothers that was out here freelancing information, you know, without proper side, so I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate, you know what I'm saying, being for you know, being a student of West Africa. I mean, he went head first in it, you know what I'm saying? He became he got entrenched into the tradition, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And he got entrenched into the language and understanding the language and pointing out, you know what I'm saying, the syncretism within certain things that's not that's syncretism, that's not right. So I appreciate that. So that made me reevaluate some of the things that I was teaching, you know what I'm saying, and some of the things that I was reading. I also appreciate Sean because Sean was like my day one. Sean gave me the courage, you know what I'm saying, to hey, I can go live and I can, I can do this, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate Sean for, being there every step of the way, being the support, you know what I'm saying, encouraged me and inspired me through the works that he was actually doing because Sean, he pushed the line, you know what I'm saying, with the science, you know what I'm saying. I appreciate those things as well. Sean and actually actually saved, you know what I'm saying, in a way saved my wife's life, especially during the pandemic. My wife was one who was against, you know what I'm saying, taking the vaccine, and believing a lot of the propaganda that was pushed, you know what I'm saying, through social media because she's heavy on social media and listening to what people say without going back and validating or researching what those say. So I appreciate those brothers for taking the time out, you know what I'm saying, and speaking with my wife and encouraging her you know what I'm saying, to try to do the right thing, not force it on her, but try to encourage her and lay out all the information, man. So again,
Hey,
I appreciate
Kofi, you know that's our greatest accomplishment, though, right?
what's that?
Like you think about that, yo. We're in a conscious community, right? And big up to Chill right there. What's up,
What up,
Chill?
chill?
What up?
What up?
Man, support us in everything we damn do the breakups and the split ups and the in betweens and the how you man. I don't know how you
Yeah,
put up with us, man. Let me
yeah.
say this though, our greatest accomplishment, and I'm saying it because Chill is right there too. When I seen Chill on making a commercial about vaccines with that damn I'm a Raw Squad shirt on, yo, going out to the world, yo, I was like, I say this is bigger than we really know it to be. Think about that, yo. He talking to the world. He got a real commercial, not no public acts, a real commercial, and it's including us, bro. Think about that, yo. Our greatest accomplishment, yo. Y'all gonna look back on that moment and say, that's what we was really here for, yo. Do you know how many lives we actually saved, yo? We was in the midst of an environment of a bunch of nuts talking crazy. The conscious community lost their mind.
Yeah.
From Sarnet to TV, I stopped messing with Sarnet. I went on strike with him. To just the Pan African groups. Everybody was talking that black, yo. They was anti-science, and it didn't have the acumen to understand what we were trying to say. That boy Sean right there, me and Sean was like, we was about 8 months in front of the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Whenever I need something, I call Sean. I say, Sean, I was in Mississippi talking to my family in Mississippi about vaccines. They was ignorant as hell. I was like, that ain't what that is. Right? So I had a little, I was like, man, okay, let me educate them. Right? I say, Sean, look, come with me. We're gonna get on golf fields, we're gonna talk about vaccines. Man, we start talking about vaccines. We start getting deeper, start getting serious. Sean is a serious researcher.
Yes,
Point blank, yo. He got all the bullets. He got the guns. He got, like one of the movies when you unlock the door and push the code in and open it up, all the weapons, right? Do you know, yo, we fought a vaccine fight before the damn pandemic, yo? Do you know these boys had me ready for a debate against Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Del Bigtree? These are the biggest, largest anti-vaccine white people on planet Earth. Trust me, Kofi is the publishing house that produced the monumental work on vaccines. Easy to read, easy to understand, yo. Chill put us in contact with real doctors that have me and Sean there. And then he had some other doctors beat up. That's on you, Chill. We beat them.
and to add to what you're saying, I feel like that vaccine hesitancy, we fought it in our own houses.
Yeah,
we fought it in our own houses. So can't nobody say it was for the camera. Can't nobody say it was for clicks or views or whatever. No, we fought it in our own houses, and we took it to the masses. We took it to black people, and to add to what you said, Sean wrote a serious book at a serious time. I get a job at the hospital around the same time, and I was stuck overseas in the Middle East because of the COVID-19. I was stuck away from my family for 16 months.
I remember that. I
was one of the first people to take the vaccine, and I recorded it, put it right on the channel for everybody to see. I did a 30-day update every day, showing people I was all right. So the impact of us collectively,
crazy work.
Chill going on the public access. Going on the commercial, doing his thing, debating people on science. John writing the book. Kofi putting it out there, publishing what needed to be published. Brother getting on the podcast, doing his thing, beating up people that say that they represent the medical community. We had people that said they represented the medical community and was lying. They didn't represent the medical community. they didn't even finish all their education and dropped out of nursing school or whatever. People lying just to preserve this narrative. So, as you say that, that's
his accomplishment.
Yeah, that's something I had.
Y'all think about it. That's our greatest accomplishment, yo.
And Chill. Hold up, before you go to Chill, when I picked up Sean and Kofi for the Mossi, first of all, I was looking for some help because I was doing all the damn shows for about 2 damn years, and I was tired. I said, I need some help. I need some young, intelligent brothers. Help me out on this show. I started looking in the community, and I found these 2 brothers. Man, I just saw the passion. I saw the zeal. I saw the the intentionality of two brothers that wanted to tell Africa's story in its accurate context. And I said, I need them two brothers right there, man. I need them brothers um, to so they can really spread their wings. Cause you know they was doing their thing with the Shooow, doing a great job, doing their thing with the Voices of Fire, doing a great job. But I felt like if I
Right.
could get them over here, they could really get busy. It's kind of like that guy, you know, on the team in the NBA. He getting like 10 minutes a game, but in them 10 minutes, you see he got some shit. We need to get him on a team where we can give him 30 minutes. We can get him 35. He can go from 8 points to 28. So that's what I saw, man. So that's why I got him over there, man. Because I was like, man, I think we could really do something special.
We hit the ground running. We hit the
Oh,
ground
they hit
running.
me down running. They even hit me up. They be like, hey, can we go live today? I said, man, it's your channel. Go live when you want. Go live. Quit asking me.
Man, let's chill jump in there, man. Cause chill put us in. He put us in some debates with the vaccine. He helped save his city. He used his influence. If y'all don't know, man, he used his influence in hip hop. I'm letting him tell you about that. He didn't have to do that for us. He used his influence in hip hop to promote our message, man. And it just went viral, man. But go ahead, chill. Talk to us, man.
Yo, what's up, man? First of all, peace to the panel, man. I just wanted to jump in. I hit Sean up. I said, man, what time y'all 11 at night? 11. And he said, no, chill, we going on in a minute. All right, so I got a second. So let me jump in. I just want to say congratulations to you brothers, 10 years. Man, when I look at all of the connectivity, even of the brothers right here, and it expands far beyond this. But you know, you brothers have expanded the collective intellectual authenticity to the culture. When I say the culture, I'm not talking about when they say like the YouTube culture. I'm talking about the culture in general. You guys don't know how far your message has reached on a lot of different topics. And man, I congratulate you guys for being on the front lines, on the back lines, on the wall, digging tunnels underneath the wall. Man, y'all do the thing. And man, big ups, man. Even you guys have influenced me on so many ways. Everybody on here has contributed to information that I have been able to go out and share. And when Unc was bringing that up, I was thinking about, in Cleveland, I had billboards, posters, bus stops, and people in the city was kicking my ass. Like, what the hell is Chill doing? What side is he on? We thought he was down with us. And anytime that I needed some information on the vaccine, and like I said, we was doing vaccine programs, debates before COVID. And man, I just wanted, because I gotta jump back off, but I just want to come in and congratulate you guys. And man, Kofi, man, everybody talks about it, how a stand-up brother you are, and you have maintained to be. I congratulate you for just being that brother that you are, man. Ben and Unc, y'all didn't know me from a can of paint. I first met y'all in Harlem. I mean, when I pulled up on y'all in Harlem at the debate, there wasn't a debate. Where the debate people didn't show up.
Oh, they ran.
You know, y'all didn't know me from a can of paint, and probably didn't even know that was me talking to y'all.
I'm just figuring that out.
Yeah, I pulled up. And Unc went over and introduced me to Side Net. Like a picture with him. But yeah, I talked to both of you brothers during that time. Me and Ladosha pulled up to Harlem.
Ladosha.
And
I definitely remember Ladoche.
and
Remember
man, Sean, let me tell you something. Sean and Kofi, I fell up with them with the Shooow, and but Juju had me caught up, and this was first time I ever met Juju. Juju had me caught up in something on some type of YouTube or post or something with Phil Valentine, and for some reason, Phil Valentine just zeroed in on me. It was like kicking my ass, and I'm like, "Why is Phil Valentine, coming for me like that?" And Sean just pulled up and was letting Phil Valentine have it. I was like, "This brother right here, this the kind of soldier I need to know." But man, big ups and Panther. Hey man, you still start. My mama's still looking for you for trying to accuse her of stealing that book. But
Did you find it?
yes, I found it. I think here we go.
He found it. He found it.
Put it back.
Hey, like I said, hey, when she showed up, the book showed back up. But man, and Unc done fell through. Rashawn done fell through. Unc fell through. Man, everybody has an invitation to the land, and Unc done fell through. Met moms and all of that. And but yeah, man, all y'all brothers, man, are my family. You guys have helped me in so many different ways and have helped me be able to help other people. So I appreciate y'all. I do got to run. August 21st, 22nd is going down in Cleveland. I'm being honored as Cleveland's first national rap recording artist, among other things, journalism. But hey, August 21st, 22nd, man, I want y'all to come down and celebrate with me. So I'll be getting more information to you. Hey, but 10 years, man, it was 10 years when I pulled up on y'all in Harlem. So I appreciate y'all. Big ups to everybody. Y'all break up, y'all come together, y'all. Man, y'all wild, man. But anyhow,
when the spiritual meets science, it's always the issue.
Y'all wow. But man, I love all of y'all brothers, man, and peace.
Wow.
But I gotta jump out.
All right, bro.
Peace,
All
man.
right.
Peace.
Hey man, let me say something. There was a comment earlier I want to talk about because it gets brought up from time to time, man. People be like, man, why don't the Mossi have any women members? This is not for lack of trying. This is not for lack of putting it out there. We've had some women recruits in the past. It ain't work out. One woman in particular, I ain't gonna say her name. I ain't gonna say her name, man. But you gotta do what's best for your household.
Yeah, that's real.
And when your household is going in a pretending direction, she decided to go with her husband. So I told her I understood, and we just went our separate ways, man. That's what happened. I don't.
But you had plenty of women helping out, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We've had plenty of women that helped us along the way.
Naya, you know what I'm saying, always was there.
But it just hasn't developed in an official membership capacity. But
I mean,
it wasn't for lack of trying. Some of the great women that have helped us just had other things going on. They had their own things going on.
Yeah, ain't gonna never.
So they couldn't devote themselves to being full-time members. But That's just been the history so far. It doesn't mean that we can't do that in the future. But while we're on the subject, of women, there've been a lot of other men members that ain't, you know, let's just say they're not standing with us here today. So it ain't it's not a gender thing.
No,
It's
it
not a
ain't.
gender thing. We ain't gonna call them names either. But it's not a gender thing whatsoever. That's just been the story so far. And you know what I think about when I think about the Mossi, man. We came in, Armor Rock Squad influence, uh, big things that were going on at the time, and that the word that has defined both groups, uh, the word pseudo.
Mm-hmm.
Have y'all ever just sat back and watched social media now?
Use it.
How that word is everywhere.
Crazy.
That word everywhere. You can't get on one platform, one video of a adversarial nature where they're debating, and that word is not said. And it's crazy because that word is the brainchild of Amara Squad. That world is the brainchild of Unc the God Killer, and it's spread, through the groups. I've wrote an article about Pseudo. We've had merch about Pseudo. Pseudo is in our books, and it's just crazy because we really changed the world with that word.
Hey,
Because before then, it was a wild wild west. It
it was
was
the Wild Wild West.
everywhere, like you said. Sources were not being provided. Sources were not, and were not a thing that was being requested. Nobody was asking you, "Hey, where'd you get that from? Hey,
You
where'd you?"
just talk.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
people can just talk and be charismatic, and mislead people at your leisure. But when we started asking for sources, putting sources in our material, and calling out the pseudoscience information that was being produced, that was the game changer. To the
Yeah,
point
you.
where even the pseudos try to at least have a source of some
Yeah, and
nature.
they always pseudo always died their source though.
But they try. Hey, before they had nothing.
They ain't had nothing to die. They could just keep talking.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we was on their head so much. They was like, I gotta say it came from something.
Yeah. But Ben, you remember? I'm not sure if you remember, right? I'll never forget this. We was on a show, and it was me and Gozy. I'm not even sure you was there, right?
Okay.
And we had what's the guy? Clyde Winters on the show. Clyde, that's my man. I call him Clyde the Glide. He was on there, man. He was talking about a 10 million year old bowl or something. And then Gozy cussed him out. He was like, look, you's a bleeping pseudo. So that was the first time that an elder in the community was called a pseudo. And it came from Ngozi. I will never forget this. I will never forget this. Listen, bro. I was like, oh, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. So I was like, wow.
I
So
remember
yeah.
another time when you was on the show. It was rest in peace to Delbert Blair.
Oh, yeah. That was my man too.
And, and my man said, the sun wasn't real, that it was the heat from the core of the earth. And and Ish lost his damn mind. That was another instance that it's like changing of the guard, man. It
You
was
know
it
what?
was
You know what, Ben? Let me say this, bro. The reason that, we have grown so much is breaking from tradition.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? Like the elders, like challenging what the elders say. I mean,
mhm,
it's always been a debate on how to do it.
mhm.
Y'all always go for the top notch respect. Sean, like me, look, at the end of the day, you just gonna have to kill him. You have to kill him at what they was wrong with. You gotta wrestle the torch away from him. I know Kofi don't agree with it, and Ben, but me and Sean like, we hit him. Look, we gonna get. Hey Sean, remember you invited him to the barbershop? Hold on, let me say this. Invited him to the barbershop. We was in Alabama. Where was we at, Sean? You invited me to Alabama. Remember that to that event?
We was in Tennessee.
We in Tennessee, and I got a chance to speak, and Kava was there. This man got up there, was like, I said, Kava. I said, yeah, jeans is real. He was like, no, they not. I was like, what? I had to beat Kava up in front of it. I didn't want to do it. But it was at that moment, either I snatched the torch out that man's hand, or be a little boy. I'm like, give me that. I said, you a pseudo, bro. I beat him half to death in that thing. Sean was laughing. It was crazy. So, hey, man, sometimes, and it's done in love, though. We love the elders, but I think our group actually bucked tradition, period. You know what I'm saying? There's always been a friction between the elders and whatever we did. I understand why now. Because we was wrestling away that tradition where the elders are always right. That's an age-old African thing. You know what I'm saying? And we broke that tradition. So, yeah, I want to say that.
Brother Nahisi has landed in the chat.
Founding member.
Another founding member of the Mossi Warrior Clan, man. Brother Nahisi, man. Always behind the scenes working, man. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing fine. How y'all doing?
Doing good,
hey, man. What's good, man?
See you, brother.
Yeah. I'm out here in the streets running some errands, man. Sorry. You know how we live.
Hey, Nahisi, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate that degree in science.
Oh.
Yes, man.
Y'all gotta watch that show. I'm on Sarnetta's. I'm going back and forth with Ali Muhammad, right? Ali Muhammad is great with his words. Yeah, he's great with his words. Like he's crystal super clear with the way he speak genetics and he was like going, I'm ducking, I'm dodging, I'm hitting, I'm hitting. He say, hey, devils, it was up. He said, here. He said, what? I have degrees in this stuff. I was like, he pulled out a paper, bang,
before a little bit.
took it down, and I say, man, let me see that. Let me see that. He was like, nope, I ain't gonna see it. I got a phone call. He said, don't worry about it.
Got the screenshot.
Got the screenshot. He did a whole. Appreciate that. He's super researcher, man. Good guy, honorable man, beautiful family. I'm a fan of his son that played football, man. I'm a fan of his wife, man. And you're a good dude, bro. I appreciate everything you've ever done for me, bro.
I job. No doubt.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for bringing me to John Henry Clark's grave site in Columbus, Georgia. I had no idea he was buried there. Brother Nahisi was like, man, he's right down here, man.
I'm right behind the 3 legend all day.
I said, man, bring me there.
Yes, sir.
He took me right there, man, and
no,
somebody that's my inspiration, man. That was a big moment for me, man. To be able to pour libation, to be able to just say thank you to the remains of John Henry Clark, another person in history that we don't know how far scholarship goes without. He's integral to that Pan-African, to the scholastic experience of Africans in America.
Yeah, John Henry Clark, the first one to call European pseudo. He said that the word black comes from the pseudoscientific community in Europe. Call them pseudo, the racial construct. Yeah, so John Henry Clark was on that in 1974. So when I went back and watched his old tape show, I was proud that we came to that same conclusion. The way he did that, he said it's time to stop basking in the blackness show. He said identify who those people are, man. And that's why that Mossi is so important, right? Because we actually identify Kofi and him. Like I remember one time I said, Kofi, don't do it. Don't do that lecture. And he did it anyway. But he was doing it to conditions.
I know which one you're talking about.
I say, don't do it, bro. I say, you're never going to get back. But he had great accurate. I mean, he went into the tradition and the culture. And that's why I ain't even gonna mention it.
I know what you talking about.
We was like, don't do it. Me and Ben was like, don't do it, yo.
I said, Kobe, you might wanna reconsider this one. I looked up, it was on the channel. I said,
It was
damn
on
it.
it. I was like, oh, the women was killing them. But you know what I mean? Oh wow. Anyway, I ain't even gonna mention it. But I'm saying that, you know, the Mossi identified like African tribes and clans. Ben actually went and learned an African language, speak it. I think this is important to get entrenched in the culture. He always asked me a lot of questions about that, what that was. And, you know, he just took that, you know, he put some real seriousness on it. And I'm going to say this. I don't think Ben would be tripping off of science at all. I think Ben rather hear what the tradition was, right? Like we lived in the world without that word science. We lived in the world without any of that. We had our own thing to help us become masters of nature. In that time period, it was what it was. And I think out of everybody, you can understand and appreciate this statement, yo. Like I don't like to reach back in time and place what we do on them people. I think those people were very proficient in what they did, and they raised the level with plants, animals, ecology, how to conduct themselves with men and women, how to manipulate their world to make them outstanding people of the world, right? And I don't think they needed science to do that. I just think they needed their own brain, their own mind, their own understanding. And I thought they did it at the level. But it would take somebody like you, Ben, to actually speak out and say, yeah, man, they had their own thing. Now we can incorporate science and add that to it because that's what the world is. But at the times they was doing it, yo, they was renowned, yo. But you're one of the only ones that actually went back and routinely go to that continent outside of Egypt and really sit down and really learn the language and really understand the plants and really know what they're doing. And so can you speak to that? Because I'm trying to tell people, I said, y'all over whooping science. I said, that's a Latin word and it don't gotta pertain to them. They lived in an environment without that and they mastered what they was doing. You know what I'm saying? And you know, so for me, I think it's far more important to talk about what the custom, what the traditions was, what the medicine was. You know, how did they do what they did? I think that's more important than placing a new thing on them. That's just my take, bro. I ain't trying to drag into it because it's a wild conversation right now. I'm gonna tell you.
No,
You open your mouth.
I get the conversation. It's a very important conversation. It's very integral. For me, I realize I'm an anomaly because I'm a scientific literate person, but I'm also priest of an African tradition, and I understand where they intertwine, and I understand where they don't. I understand that traditions say one thing and science may say another. Sometimes they may say something that sounds similar. But I think it's important that you understand what is going to work.
There you go.
So that's where the rubber meets the road, right? So when you're scientifically literate, you understand that viruses, pathogens, these things evolve, right? So what worked during the Oyo Empire in the 1700s, them viruses then outgrew that. You know, you know, it might help with the symptom, but it ain't gonna hit like what you finna get, you know, 2026. You know, that was a big thing during the COVID thing. People were like, well, you know, let's go here and find out what what our elders could come up with. And I'm not saying not to do that, but what I'm saying is we had never seen anything up until that point like COVID-19. So it's best to get the research from now because we can actually have the tools to analyze what this is versus trying to reach back and hope that can do something just out of our own fear of modern medicine. So there are things that are scientific about African traditions. Their knowledge of, you know, plants with the botany, their knowledge of certain epistemologies. Okay, we can say this is either scientific or we can say this is proto-science. But there are a lot other things that we cannot say are science. They have no scientific basis. They're more spiritual in nature. They're more other things in our tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they're not spiritual in nature, they're just practical things that we just do, you know. So it's important when talking about African traditions that you don't put them in this one singular box. You can't say that it's just science. You can't say that it's just spirituality. They have this interwoven activity right now where they don't see it as one or the other. They just see it as how they live.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
This is how they live. This is how we do things on a day-to-day. So whether we are studying what the animals eat when they're sick to try to make something for your snake bite, or whether we are feeding a shrine on behalf of our ancestors, this is not separate to them.
Correct.
To them, they're just living their lives in accordance with their culture.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to stop trying to make people choose. We have to stop trying to make people choose. If you want to be scientific, be scientific. You want to be spiritual, you want to be spiritual. You want to be both, be both. But scientific literacy is how we understand the natural world.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
on some basic level, you need to be scientifically literate.
Mm-hmm.
On some basic level, you need to understand the world around you. You need to understand why you get sick. You need to understand what makes you well. You need to understand medicine. You need to understand these things on a basic level, because this is how civilizations evolve, and this is how civilizations perish, not understanding the world around them. I think people have thought that I was anti-science because I went into the traditions. And I was like, well, if that's the case, why did I continuously promote Sean's book on COVID-19
Right.
repeatedly? Why did I take the vaccine myself?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because you got to understand, at the time where I was stuck overseas, it was the walls of COVID-19 is closing in. Everybody's getting it in my company. I came back, almost everybody had it. Then the vaccine drops, and I take it, and I monitor every day of my results. So it's like, oh, he can't be for this because he's for that, and that's just not how Africans live their lives even to this day. I don't know why people think they are antonyms. They're not. They're not. I'm telling you right now, they're not. They're doctors on the continent that work with traditional priests now. They got whole initiatives in some countries where they're trying to learn from each other. Well, what do you do? Well, what do you do? So it's not.
Ben, hold on, Ben. You know what? I tried to tell somebody that. I said, don't you know that pharmaceutical companies and doctors, they actually go back to the traditionalists and had a conversation. I said, and what y'all don't know, because somebody on the continent told me, they say what you don't know is when you talk to a traditionalist, right? And he's talking to a person that's dealing with your medicine, evidence-based medicine, you'll hear the traditionalists say, yeah, that's it. I wanted to be able to get to this point right here. And they exchange notes with each other. And then the doctor be like, well, I didn't even know you could even put that together. You know what I'm saying? I understand what the compound is, right. And they work well together. Mm-hmm. Science has never stopped going to these traditional places.
No, they haven't.
Because that's where a lot of the answers are. And this is before science. That's my whole point. That they was able to do things before science. They might not knew the why, they just need to know it worked.
Right.
Right? So the question is,
it works.
Yeah, so why do they have these conversations about the plants back and forth with traditional science? And by the way, a traditional village can have kids that will go to the universities and come back and add to the pot. See, that's what people not getting. It's called Africa was under damn developed, man. And I keep saying this, right? 70 to 80% of the continent practice traditional medicine. They don't practice evidence-based medicine. It's too expensive.
Right.
And they not dead. Why is it that the population on Africa is the youngest population on planet Earth, and 80 to 70% of them practice traditional medicine? Think about what I'm saying.
Sure.
Really and think about that. How great was their medicine? Remember when they came? Hey, Sean, remember when they came to America? Onesimus? This is during the scientific revolution. Now, I know I ain't tripping. It's
And
during the scientific revolution where Onesimus comes and bring a high level medical technique called virilation, bro. But how could West Africa have a high level medical procedure that would be the precursor for vaccines, and they don't got science? Watch this, because they didn't need science. They needed what they had. Whatever tradition that they had of studying plants was higher than the white boys all day, every day. So I'm never saying that science was better. I don't do it. I see people, black owls do it. I don't do it. I say, well, wait a minute, bro. They had to send the information to the Royal Colleges, Boyston. He said, let me send it to the Royal College. The Royal College in England was like, hold on, that's man, they got a little something like that in China, maybe India. Y'all might want to go with that. And then they had those clinical trials, right? But I'm saying I respect African traditions. Yo, they was way better than what the Europeans had in the damn scientific revolution. But who you gonna tell that to, Ben? And they understand it.
They just had technology though.
Right.
The advancement is the fact that they were able to take that knowledge, put it together, and infuse it with the technology to advance it.
Right.
Right. Because you get that same technology.
I think people get very
You just said it, Sean.
offended about the terms, because if somebody says, okay, this is proto, or someone says, okay, they applied scientific principles, they're simply saying it didn't go through the rigorous scrutiny of today's modern science. That's what they're saying. They didn't have double-blind tests. They didn't have this. They didn't have that. But what they did have is they saw that it was working. And like Unc said, they not dead. So it's working on some level, so we just gonna go with this. I mean, on the other side of Wanamus and in his precursor to inoculation, you got to understand that Wanamus came from southwestern Nigeria. He's a Yoruba man. This technique that made its way to Americas comes from the priest of Obaluaye. Obaluaye is the Orisha of pestilence and disease.
Deified it.
Their whole priesthood is dedicated to the diseases, to the pestilence, to the healing, to the fighting with, to the understanding of pestilence and disease. His name is Obaluaye, King of Earth. Now, why is a deity of pestilence and disease a king of earth? Because when the pestilence and disease come, the whole world shut down. We just seen it happen in 2019. Everybody shut down, everybody in the house, put your mask on and everything else. They understood that back then.
And the Nupe.
It's got to be a priority, is what they said. We are exalting this process because this has got to be a priority. When this happens, this is shutting down our whole civilization. This is shutting down our whole operation. We can't do nothing if everybody's sick. Deified.
Gotta work. You don't gotta know why it work. It just work.
We just gotta know that pestilence, disease, sickness, we gotta put that at the top. So when this happens, everything's shut down. So that's why
that made the traditionalists, like when people were going to get stuff done in the community, they knew that these practitioners had some level of knowledge and understanding that everybody else didn't have. So when the sickness would fall ill on the people, where they going to? They don't know what's going on. It's just coming from out of the air. So to them, they trying to explain it. Like back in the day, you used to say this all the time. You said that people didn't know what was going on. They created mythology to explain the natural world. So whatever fit inside the explanation of that, people just handed that tradition down. Now we understand what this story was really saying because we have the information that they didn't have before. Right. So now that we had that information, we can look back at it. That's why in studying West Africa, in studying certain cultures, and understanding when we start seeing these certain deities for certain viruses show up in the culture, we then know like, okay, so they didn't know what this was, so they deified it and named it this, and this is a little emblem or something that they made to represent that actual deity, and then the stories that come behind that, we get it now. But they had that knowledge of trial and error because those people experimented with themselves. When them people were croaking over and dying,
yes,
those practitioners went out there and would cut themselves open and then insert those incisions and then get that from them to see what would happen. And it just so happened that they found protection. It was a deadly way to find protection. Yeah, but they found protection. But through trial and error, you know what I mean? And just trying to understand what was going on around them. Some people took that chance, but then that also made them esteemed in their communities because they weren't afraid of that deity that would bring itself present and fall ill on others.
So you gotta look at the iconography. So when you look at priests of Oba Loaye, they're covered in charms and medicine. They're covered in them all over their bodies because they're trying to say this is such a destructive force. I want to cover myself in things to protect me because when everybody gets sick, the whole civilization dies. It shuts down. So when this tradition gets trafficked through the transatlantic slave trade to Cuba, and they have Oba Luaye, but they change it because of their tongue. So they call it Baba Luaye or Sapanya and other things. Their depiction of it is a man just covered in raffia, covered in those pine straws. And he's covered because you're covering the sickness. This is not even a we want to cover you with this raffia so that what you have don't infect the community. So like Sean said, when you look at these stories and look what they're saying, they saw this sickness and they took action. And that's the precursor for one of us.
Absolutely.
Brings that to the world.
Absolutely.
Inoculation.
Social distancing too. Wearing masks too. That comes from West Africa.
All of the bodies of the infected people, you put them in the bush. They can't be buried with everybody else.
Yeah.
They didn't bury them because Yoruba people bury people in their homes. They threw those bodies in the bush.
Yeah.
You can't be by us.
Yeah.
Adetayo, he died with that sickness. Where you got to put him. You can't put him over here with Big Mama. I'm sorry. And they watched the animals even do social distancing. So they knew, hey, so-and-so going through that fever. Hey, put him over there. He can't come out till he well. So all these proto type of practices, man, like your mama say, ain't nothing new under the sun, man. But we understand it now more in 2026, and it's just an evolutionary chain of understanding. So to me, when you understand that, man, and you understand how these things can be interconnected at times, it shouldn't be nothing to really argue about. But I think the terms make people upset because
I think it's inferiority. I think it's an inferiority complex.
That's what I was going to say. It makes them feel inferior to some degree, but they shouldn't. They shouldn't feel inferior because look what we produced.
Right. That's the point I keep making. Like, why y'all worried about that? Yeah, and I tell you what, they don't even study the scientific revolution to see that you got people from West Africa, people from Ethiopia, they right there in Europe. Right? They right there and they're adding to the body of knowledge. Like, and that's the part I hate, that you can't, and this is during the slave trade. we talk about Darwin and how Edmiston, he changed the whole man's career. Now, this man was enslaved in South America, right? And worked in the rainforest, got free, got his freedom, and studied the rainforest, right? Darwin actually pays him to teach him taxidermy, and he not only teaches him that, he say, "Do you know in the rainforest it's the most diverse life, flora, you know what I'm saying, and fauna?" Darwin was like, "Yeah." So Darwin was going to be a medical doctor. He convinced that man to be a naturalist based off of him giving this grand idea of diversity. Darwin take that, make the trip, the global trip, and reaches his scientific conclusions, yo. But this, you talking about, you know what I'm saying, John Edmiston. Look him up.
Yeah.
Look him up. So he wasn't, this is, look at the time period. So people don't talk, we've been talking about this for years. So I'm never thinking just because there was a scientific revolution that it wasn't indigenous African practitioners in the midst of that. There was. It's just at this time the learning center had moved to this particular area. That's how I go. Humanity is always on the case trying to figure out a better way to live. So, for me, I don't feel inferior.
I tell you what, because he was a bird stuffer, and he taught him, taxonomy, and he taught him the things he taught him. You can learn a whole lot from them animals, especially on the butchering side.
Yeah, that's the key. That's the foundation right there.
As a butcher myself, I can tell you, you start learning a whole lot about the body when you start looking inside. You're like, oh, that's why. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. So with this, you see how this connected? Because I can tell you how it's connected all day long, but when you see it,
yeah, it's different.
Aziz, get in here, man. Where my cuzzo at? Where you at, man? I put the link in the Facebook chat, man. Get in here, cuz. That's my Senegambian cousin, man.
Yeah, but to your point though, it's some people don't know that. Some people don't understand that. Like when you ask Ben a question and he brings it out, or some people don't know about those stories regarding how they deified these viruses and the solutions to those viruses and stuff like that, because they're only focused on right now. You remember, like, since everything has context and we have to fully understand it, most of our minds can't go back
right
100 years or 50 years or see the world for how other people seeing it unless we have taken our time to properly identify that through history, through the knowledge that we could gain from other people and actually study those things. But since we're so the microwave era, you know what I'm saying, where everything is 90 seconds, right? I mean, that's the rim, that's the wave of the rim that we're fighting, and it's not actual knowledge that is obtained over time. It's actually something that is obtained in a Google search or Chat GPT on a lower level to fully, get the grasp of that, but then not even going further than that or deeper diving in that to where it can continue to give you the context. And I think that's where the ball slips in that whole conversation. If who had science, who didn't have science, everything about life. And I learned this, right? Since we anniversarying it, I learned this years ago. In the Mossi, in the Amara Squad group, there's nothing but posts going up every day. Everybody's saying any and everything in this group. However, Brother Black Panther sends me a message because I really don't know. I'm just, I'm searching. Sends me a message. Hey, brother, check these works out right here, man. I think they'll be real good for you, especially on, where you're trying to go. I received the message and I went and got the books. Started reading the books, I'm thanking Black Panther for that information. At this time that I'm being helped and prevented from falling for all the pseudo stuff, Kofi dead smack in the middle of it. You know what I'm saying? Kofi will tell y'all that because he in the middle of the pseudo stuff and the good stuff, and he trying to weave all of it out. And then here I am, I fall right into the correct circle of people, right? That was on proper research methodology, literature review. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was buying and investing books, but reading those books. That's how our catalogs got up. And then the whole time I'm having books and Kofi having books, but Kofi telling me that he got certain title books, and I'm like, wait a minute. You know that Unk book with the electromagnetic.
Ah, no, he had that. Everybody had that one.
Yo,
Throw it away, Kobe.
The electromagnetism of the I remember that
Oh,
book,
oh
boy.
no.
That book,
like
Yeah.
that book. Like so, it was certain books.
batteries in it. What else it have in it? The
Yeah.
light bulbs.
Craziness. So Kobe's like, man, you lucky. He was like, cause the path you're on right now, I was on a whole nother journey. You know what I'm saying? Because he was ahead of me in that. So he was like, I was on a whole nother journey, bro. You don't know how far I had to steer over to get myself centered, right? And so I gotta thank Black Panther for that, because he was the first. I promise you, the first person I ever got a message from in the community that just put me up on game. And then from that point forward, I knew who I was dealing with, because when the great debate happened, right? The Kemet versus the Hebrew debate, right? When that debate happened on Sonetta stuff, it wasn't polite that drew my interest, because it was a critical moment in that debate. Yeah, he had the pizzazz and he could talk and he could humor people and entertain them or whatever the case may be. But in that moment where he needed primary research, he relied on the Amarat squad.
Yep.
He stopped the whole debate for the Amarat squad to come up there and deliver the facsimile to end the discussion with the Hebrews. And I said, oh, yeah, I don't even need to, you know what I mean? I listened to SETI, I listened to all them. They was all that. I said, yeah, I don't even need to listen to what everybody else saying. Let me see what these brothers is on and get the literature review and the information that they had, and just stay right there, because y'all was dealing with something that was top tier. But my point in saying all of that is, everything happens for a reason, because it put me in the circles. And then I was in the Shooow, and I was getting beat up in the Shooow, not from like a knowledge perspective or obtaining the knowledge at that particular time. It was about correction, right? And so what many people don't know, so like if I'm gonna be out fighting in the streets with every fool on the internet, like there was something that I went through before those fights. Right. So those were conversations, not on the topics that we're dealing with per se, but it was more so like, you need to know the topic, you need to know this conversation, and you need to know the intricacies of that, and use correct method, and before you come out and say anything. And that was a Kofi thing, because, and a Satepin Rod thing, and all the brothers and the sisters in the Shooow. But and that was the staple, and then that just led into everything else, then being reached out, and then here we are. But my whole thing is that everything's a process, and not everybody was on that same plane. So it's so easy for you to filter into the craziness, because you didn't have the tools or the guidance to be able to get in that line, man. And it was just rare. It was a rare opportunity for me to get in that line and not get outside that line. And that's what a lot of that comes from. But yes, if you want to know the argumentative perspective of it all, is because what's been passed down. I got knowledge from all of them. You know what I'm saying? I listen.
For you, what Unc did for me.
Yeah. So it continued to be.
Can't keep it unless you give it away.
Right. Facts.
And Sean did the same thing.
When I tried to hit you with Unc, I said, what about Lucy, Unc? Huh? What about?
You thought it was a woman. I was like, oh, that's an arthropithecine. You was always asking questions, but okay. So the difference between y'all and a whole lot of people, right, is that I could bring the conversation up about science. Y'all got enough acumen to understand that we can separate these time periods, right? And it's a human endeavor. So at a certain point, it's going to crystallize. Our ancestors lived in environments from 350,000 years to this present, and that body of you said it perfect, Ben. That body of thing, the double blind, all that wasn't in place, right? So we know what science is, but based off the fact that y'all understand real Africa, right? Not black algae Africa, but real Africa, custom and traditions, y'all don't feel marginalized with my statement because you understand that what they had was definitely far superior than what the Europeans had in the scientific revolution. So since y'all really know Africa, y'all don't trip. That's what I'm trying to tell people. I said, y'all know pseudo Africa. Y'all know African American Africa. Y'all don't know the Africa that got Kofi in trouble when he tried to bring some custom and traditions to the community. Y'all don't know that Africa? Seriously, yo, and the African American woman was
real Africa too. That was real Africa.
That's a fact.
He gave real Africa ideas. He didn't even understand. We was like, yo, but we is African Americans, and you might not want to get. But my point is, no one's sitting down and becoming that Bible Loud. It's taking you years. A whole lot of money, some money lost, some money. Like no one's doing that. No one's doing what Sean is doing. So we don't argue over things that's there. We don't have to argue that. We understand what science is. We understand what the custom tradition is. When I say traditional knowledge, spiritual, social systems, I'm saying that was renowned. It's the foundation of vaccine science. It's the foundation of evidence-based medicine for plants. It's that. It's not little boy stuff. It's what the world looks back to. The proof is that they continue to sit with those indigenous people and suck up that knowledge. That's the difference. I never overwhooped science. I understood what different sets of people was doing. So I just think it's important, and I snuck it up on y'all. I knew y'all wasn't gonna push back. We hadn't even talked about this. I said, well, let me throw this here. Let me throw that at them and see where they at. And you said it right, Sean, and you said it right, Ben. You understand the daggone custom and traditions, and you understand where we at, and you know what the people had for real. Not the African American thing where the Egyptians is floating across the Sahara and the pyramids is the daggone floating nonsense, bro. You know what I'm saying? Nonsense. So yeah.
But like you said, man, when you start going to the continent, man, you're not gonna be the same no more. A lot of stuff that comes out of the community, you just gonna be like, nah. that's not what's happening over here, man. I've been to Southern Africa, been to Egypt, been to Senegal, Gambia, been to Burkina Faso,
South Africa,
and Nigeria and Benin real soon. Yeah, man, and experiencing because y'all know me, I ain't going to the resort. I ain't going.
Not you.
You're in the street.
No, if everybody going to the resort this way, I'll be like, hey, bro, because I'm gonna know the name of the tradition anyway. I'm like, where can I find these people? And they're gonna be like, you want to go there? Yeah. They're like, all right, cool. I'm gonna throw in some CFA or whatever. He gonna take me out there, man. I don't want to be at the pool. What the hell is the point of you paying $1,500, $1,800, $2,000 with his ticket in his hotel and everything, and you gonna go do the same shit that you could do at the Holiday Inn or down the road? What the fuck is the point of that? No, man. I want to go out with I want to see the people, man. I want to interact with the people. I want to ask them questions. I want to meet elders. I want to see sacred sites. I want to be immersed in the tradition so I can learn more about, how we're connected, how this looks like another place where I've been in Africa, how this look like, oh, they do the same thing. Oh, y'all had contact at one point. Oh, y'all shared masquerades. Oh, y'all got language that's similar. Like, you got to go do that, man. Juju, over there in Gambia, man, when I went to that Gambian museum, whoo, that National Gambian Museum is not a big museum. But I had to do 4 parts on that presentation on the Mossi because there was just so much in there. There's so much in there, and that place change your mind about the whole. Gambia ain't nothing but this big, man. You can get through Gambia in 3 hours. But it's so much culture there, man. So much culture. So you like I'm saying, man, you gotta go, man.
I
Stop
got
listening
some
to
for
people
Kofi.
who never win.
So Kofi, because you're in this new space, right? And most people don't know this space because it's not necessary. When I say this space, I'm saying like with dealing with literature, like real readers, sisters and brothers that are actually book club members and reading the books and y'all going through these breakdowns and everything. How has it been for you, specifically you, in learning your learning journey through the conscious community and into this new space, knowing what you know?
That's a great question.
We
You
can't
on,
hear you.
Come on now, Kobe. I got to hear this.
you on mute, Kofi?
Oh, my bad. Say the question one more time for me so I can make sure I'm
Yeah.
registering what you're saying.
So your learning journey, going through your learning journey and being in the space that you're in now, where you're dealing with people that seriously read, right? And get into, certain works that are not necessarily based on some things in your learning journey, but they're outside of that realm as well. So how has that transition been for you, learning all those things and then coming into this new space and then opening your mind up to a whole new group of people?
Oh man, it's been good, man. I don't think I would have got what I needed being in the conscious community because I'm really pushing the line of we telling our own stories from our own perspective and from our own worldview. It's important at this day and time that we do that because if you go back and you look, there's book bans everywhere. There's censorship of information of what our ancestors and et cetera contributed. So me going into another space where people that don't think like me, or I hear the conversations that I heard, with being a part of this group or being a part of what we call the conscious community, I think it was great for me because I began to learn a whole lot. Like I consider myself a griot, and a griot has many roles, and one of the roles of a griot is a historian. So I consider myself a historian. I'm an advocate for history. I love history when it comes to African culture and tradition, whether that's West Africa, Central Africa, um, North Africa, South Africa. But being involved with these other particular people who may be atheists, who may be Muslims, uh, who may be Christians or et cetera. I've learned a lot from these individuals. You know what I'm saying? I learned to reach people at different places. Like, so I'm not just a historical writer anymore. So I'm a self-help writer, personal growth writer, reaching people through poetry. I'm dealing with poetry now. And then even connecting with people like understanding that um different ways of getting your message out there, not through different variations of not only the paperback books but through uh book narration. So you know connecting with the book narrators, connecting with the book reviewers, you know what I'm saying, letting them review your book, being connected with um um certain universities that put on these big book events, understanding the difference between independent publishing and the difference between um independent and Lord, I'm using trying to traditional publishing, right? And understanding the two, you know what I'm saying, and then merging, and merging the two, man. So it's been good for me. It's been good for me. It's been good for my business. I've been able to make the business grow. I don't even have to market my business no more because I done built so many different relationships with people in the book business, whether it's on the traditional side or whether it's on the independent side, whether it's with multiple book narrators, where it's with people who do book reviews, whether there's people who do monthly book clubs, etc. So it's been good. You know what I'm saying? It's been definitely good for me, but I've also been definitely missing this side as well. But I also connected with people who consider themselves as historians too. But a lot of the information that these people are privy to, I've been knowing this information for a long time. So it's been good for me to direct them toward people like John Henry Clark or Amos Wilson or Dr. Ben, John G. Jackson or Chancellor Williams, and et cetera, man. So it's definitely been good for me. And now I want to come back on this side and, you know, share that information with with the family so we can do better with our publishing because we publish a lot of books, but to be real, we hadn't had a lot of people to read our publications like we needed to read them because we didn't understand how to market and promote and how to network with other different people, other different, people and how to distribute that literature and different things. So now when I put books out, I put out books through the three different things. That's through the public, that's on the paper book side, that's on the hard book side, that's on the narrator side, and that's on the ebook side, right? And understanding those different things, and then networking with the book reviewers and giving away stuff for free to get people to review, to set up reviews, and then traveling to network with other people, whether they look white or not. And me traveling to a lot of places, it's not a lot of us in the building. It's not a lot of us. When I go to these darn big events, man, at these universities, man, it's more white folks in there than black folks up in there. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, for the most part, man, I've loved the transition that I made, but it never took me away. Even though I stepped away, it never took away from me buying books. You know what I'm saying? That's dealing with what I like to do. It never took away from me continue to say I'm an African. I love African. It never took away from me conveying information to people. You may not see me on YouTube conveying that information like I used to, but I'm still conveying it to people. I still live by the message of as I learn. We all learn, which we've been talking about the whole entire time, is taking that information and sharing that information out to people, not because we understand that, as I learn, we all learn, each one teach one. That's been the method through our community the whole time, you know what I'm saying, to be bridge builders and not gatekeepers. Even though I've got a book coming out that I talk about some of the experience in the conscious community and some of the people who told me no and some of the people who gave me the runaround. It's called I don't say no name, but it's called Your No Was My Biggest Blessing. You know what I'm saying? So I got the books. I got about 75 books already. I hired the book narrator. I got the book narrator. The book audio book is already gone. I'm just trying to figure out some more ways on how I'm gonna market. I already got the books to the book reviewers. I got a few little things already set up, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so it's definitely talking about the things that happened to me in the conscious community in the beginning. I wasn't as fortunate as you, Sean, where you had people to reach out to you and share things like you said in the beginning. I started out, I was just buying books. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know anything really about proper research methodology. I didn't know, how to go in the back of the book and look at the sources. And to be honest with you, some of the books I bought didn't have damn sources in the back of the book now that I thought about it, you know what I'm saying? So, I was, unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? Even though I tried, I reached out to people in the beginning. It was just people would turn me down or people wouldn't, you know what I'm saying, or give me the runaround or say they're going to put me on their schedule. So I just tried to figure it out until I got with the Shooow and got introduced to Wu Jiao and got introduced to some of the other brothers and then got introduced to the Amun-Ra Square. Actually, I didn't get introduced to the Amun-Ra. I got introduced to Unc. Unc was at a park and Sonetta was at a park. I might have been out in Atlanta. They was at a park. So I got introduced to Unc first and then later introduced to Amun-Ra Squad, who started pushing sources and the importance of information and, how to comb through information, you know what I'm saying, in various ways you know what I'm saying, before you speak, man. But you know, my journey, you know what I'm saying, has been I think the best decision for me at that particular time was leaving it alone and going through this journey of understanding the book business fully, you know what I'm saying, and getting the book business.
Me and Sean chase your way, yo. Tell the truth, yo.
Uh
Me and Sean chase your way. Tell the truth.
Nah, y'all didn't change. Y'all, I mean, I ain't gonna in small percentage, yeah, you know what I'm saying. It hurt me, you know. Like I said, I never choose side. I never choose side. Even when you and Ben was going through things, I never choose the side and said, "Well, I'm gonna stop answering the phone for because Ben and what's the name? I never choose the side when you called and you and Sean was going through whatever y'all was going through. I always tried to be the bridge between
Yeah, you
each other.
kept the bridge.
And
Man,
try to
tell that nigga something. Go.
yeah,
Tell
you know,
you kept the bridge.
yeah, man. But
I
you
ain't
and Sean,
talking to him.
y'all so much alike. That's why y'all bump heads so much. Y'all is so
Yeah,
much alike. You know, and
yeah, that's it.
I love both of y'all, man. But I hate y'all delivery. I hate y'all delivery. I hate y'all approach. I do, man. But y'all
I'm
are some
getting better.
brilliant. But
I'm getting
y'all are
better, bro.
some brilliant black men, some intelligent, you know, black men. I just
I'm getting better,
sometimes
yo.
I appreciate it. You need to get with
Seriously,
Sean, man. Get Sean some classes. Get Sean some classes because Sean is still
I can't give it.
hard, man. Sean is hard. I don't think
I got,
Sean
I
gonna
got,
play good.
I got a question for the panel.
Yeah.
Did the Dogon see the star?
Oh my God, man. Here we go.
Do you realize we
Oh,
recorded
shit.
from the moment the
Yo,
Dogon?
you
DJ
gotta
Kid,
you gotta say which star. You gotta say which star.
B, Cyrus B.
So we can kill it.
Tolo
Yeah,
Polo.
No,
yeah.
no, 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 no. For the
No,
last time,
they
no.
saw the only star that they could see. They seen the one star everybody else could see.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yo, you
man.
know we put over that the Big Bang. None of them Big Bang. Do you realize that? Yo, that's what it was. We can laugh about it now, yo. We was beefing over the
People
Big
in
Bang, and
their
I
mind
swear,
that I
yo,
said that. I never
man, Sean
said
too, y'all. What the Big? I was like, what? Man, do you realize that's what the fight? I promise you, bro. That shit was funny. We crazy, yo.
Yeah,
Crazy, yo.
that.
y'all lost y'all damn
We
mind, man.
lost.
No,
Y'all lost y'all damn mind, man.
1,000 times no.
Man.
Hey, bro.
I, I
Sometimes, man.
I hated that though, and the reason why I hated that, man,
Why
that
you hate
created
that?
a that created a that created a big divide between a lot of people, bro. That created a big divide between a lot of people. A lot of people swayed toward
Yeah,
y'all
yeah,
way. A lot
yeah,
of people
yeah.
swayed toward our way, man. I hated that, man. It was just a big divide. But I'm kind of glad because
Because it
it
helped.
made me see how people switch up so fast on you. Seeing how
Yeah,
people, damn, they were just championing you while, and
yeah.
then now they done switched up on you. Them people that switched up, I don't even fool with them people no more. You know what I'm saying? Because I
You
seen how
can't,
fast they switched up. You know what I'm
you
saying?
can't choose when brothers fighting, yo. You just gotta let them fight and get out
Yep,
the way. Just get the
yep,
hell out the way.
yep. Just get out the way.
You feel me?
Because
Get out the way. They gonna figure it out. Get out the way. They fighting. Just get out the way, yo.
because at the end of the day, we all family. And while you in between
We
what
gonna
two
figure it
families
out later.
going
Yeah,
Y'all
in,
we're
we
let
gonna
gonna
figure it out. We're gonna figure it
you
out.
gonna
We're
figure it
gonna
out at
figure it
the
out.
end of the day, and then y'all gonna be looking crazy because y'all
Looking
done jumped
crazy.
in something y'all didn't even have to jump into. Y'all should have just sat back and watched. And if you did have something to say, you should have said something positive on both sides to try to encourage,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying, everybody to get back on one accord. You know what I'm saying? Instead of picking a side and then attacking
yeah.
the other
Ben ain't go
person.
public. Ben hated me and Sean. Me and Sean.
About people, man. No.
Me and Sean in the middle of the street.
Not doing
it.
it.
I'm
So
gonna take your business. You ain't gonna take my name. What? Crazy. Hey, listen,
the, la-
man.
the, la- the last person I made some videos about was absolutely positively crazy, and it's still crazy to this day. So yeah, I said you pseudo young pseudo.
Oh yeah. Oh wow, the
Last
young
person I made a
yo,
video
Buzz
about.
Lightyear. Yeah,
So
he's
I
a
said,
nut.
nope, I'm never doing it ever again. I said, I don't care what happens. not making
Bud
a video
Light,
about
yo.
I'm not doing it. I said I'm just gonna fade to the background and whatever, man. I said I'm not doing it.
But you know what? You can never deny the times where it was just you there and me driving them shoes to Texas, yo. Chief X steal the shoes and act like he ain't steal the shoes. Yeah, I'm saying he's still saying it, bro. He still, me and you on the phone, yo. We saying Chief X, why you wearing shoes to the store, yo? He talking about, well, I want to see if they fit. What the hell is he talking about, Chief X? He
I
did
only
that.
wore them a
Oh,
few
yo, we
times.
had to call a lady, yo. Come on, yo.
I
Like
only
we,
wore
then
them
the
a few
day he
times.
act
I
like
only
that
wore
ain't
them
what
to
it
the
was.
snow.
Come on, man. We drove all the way to Texas. It's just me and Ben. Ben was an integral part of getting the shoe company off the daggone thing because it was me and him. Wasn't nobody else. Right?
Driving,
We said we had a good
driving
made a
into
lot.
Texas.
Man, that's a long drive, bro. We get there, we
Long
sell the
drive.
shoes, a lady leave her shoes, Chief X pick up the shoes, right? I don't know what he was thinking about it, yo. But we did try him on. He walked through the store. I was like, yo, why don't you walk through the store on shoes? I'm just trying them on. What you talking about, bro? And then he never sent the lady the shoes, yo. He could have
They're
just
gonna
said it
send
from
me.
the
They're
beginning.
just gonna
Look,
send me.
he said, and now I found out he ain't had the money. It was $20, bro.
Yeah,
We could have
just
paid for
that.
that. It wasn't a big
Yeah,
deal. You get it? Come on,
yeah,
bro.
yeah, it's bad.
Ah, man. We done been, hey, bro, we done been through a whole lot, yo. And it's glad to be up here with y'all brothers, man. We done been through the ups and downs. That split kind of helped us develop on our own what we needed to do. Sean came into his own, Kofi came to his own, Ben came into his own. Sometimes your close proximity, yo, it kind of stunts your growth because you don't want to offend each other and stuff like that. Sometimes you need, as a man, sometimes men need to go to their own neutral corners and build their thing and look at each other and say, yeah, I told you I was going to do it. Yeah, oh yeah, I remember you was my man, yo. And that's actually essentially what happened. We got to go to our neutral corners, right? Get our own separate respect, right? Y'all came into your own without me, no influence, no nothing. And to be honest with y'all, man, that's all I wanted to see, yo. I want to see everybody do their own thing and say, you know what, yo, but that's mine. You know what I mean? And I think that's important as men. You got friends, you build things, you have influence with people, but sometimes, yo, you gotta build your own separate universe, yo. And that's what y'all did, and that's what make me proud. I'm proud, man. I'm proud of everybody that's doing what they doing, yo. I mean, because that's really the vision, right? The vision is, you know what I mean, build something for the community that built the legacy of at least trying to get as close to reality as possible, man. And I think everybody has done that and it's so vital. Like I say this all the time. I say, man, y'all don't know how much y'all actually done, bro. Y'all gonna look back at these moments and say, damn, yo, we did that. It wasn't no rules, it wasn't no regulations in the conscious community, yo. It was you say anything. It's the best speakers had the best chance. You know what I'm saying? Those that could talk the best, those that could say the words is clear, yo. And that's the environment I came into, and I needed help. You know what I'm saying? And y'all was the help, yo. So look, man, y'all don't know how we have shaped this community. Now we don't look at Africa as second place.
Right.
With signs, without signs, and signs, whatever they had, it was very serious work. To the point where science is built off of that. That's how serious it is, right? And it's not Black Algae Africa, where they float across the savannah, where they could do no wrong. It's not that. Ben go to the villages. Hell, Juju and got married in Gambia. She in Gambia. What she do? You know what I'm saying? It's think about it, yo. Our thing ain't Kemet.
And she's learning. And
Right.
she's
But our thing
learning.
ain't Kemet though. You get it? The conscious community is Kemet. That ain't our thing. You get my point? Like, that's not our thing, bro. I was always the Green Sahara. Now the Green Sahara is in the museums now. But we had already promoted that. I was already on that pinnacle point. You've been a pinnacle point already, South African cave. That's what our studies was. Maybe a song, Wu John them, and Smash was in Egypt, but that wasn't our thing. We showed the world, at least our world, what Africa was for what it was. Not what we wanted it to be, right? Not how African Americans feel like, oh, they black people now. No, what do they call themselves? We always gave them African agencies. And I tell you what's funny about this, and I'm gonna stop. Anthropology is now saying what we saying as far as let the people speak, let the ancestors speak. They don't gotta be the authors of Christianity and they had the virgin birth. They don't have to have the one God, right? No, they had what they had. And that's why I did the same thing with science. Look, bro, why they gotta have that? They had what they had. Now, what they had, was it the level, right? In their time period? Was it the standard? Did they raise healthy, functional communities? Absolutely positive.
Based on what they had, yeah.
And
But
that's
they also had to go through a phase of life and understanding. Like today, people will look at why were they killing twins? You know, so long ago, they didn't have an understanding of that. They thought one was evil, and one was
Right.
not, and it
Oh,
took development over time,
the
right?
reason the Romans was killing children that looked small when they came
Right.
out. They didn't think they were going to be warriors.
yep. Yep. Same reason, bro. It's human beings, bro.
Right. Just
Doing human being stuff.
and
Human
just
beings.
the natural world, and just trying to you said it like I said, like a long time ago. They were trying to just understand the natural world. Can we put ourselves in the place of understanding it as clear as day? All this stuff we got around us today, they didn't have that. They didn't have a sense of any of that. So all they saw was just nature. And the one thing that we all learned and we all agreed with was that this saying is true to this day. What is nature trying to do to us? Kill us. It's trying to kill us. We're trying to prevent nature from
killing us.
Winning.
There's aspects of nature trying to kill us for sure.
Yeah, all day. Ain't thinking about you.
I be trying to tell people viruses want to live too.
Right.
That's one thing I appreciate about the Mossi, and something that somebody can't say. We didn't sensationalize our Africa. We gave you the good and we gave you the bad. Like you was saying, you know, how, you know, you use the word blackology, you know, where people be Africans floating on carpets in the Sahara, whatever they be talking about, you know what I'm saying? Or we had superpower, we can go out into the sun and get the downloads from the sun, from the what all this crazy stuff they was talking, you know, they talking about it. So I'm glad that this group, you know what I'm saying, we didn't sensationalize Africa when everybody else was sensationalized Africa like it was just this great utopia and we didn't fight with each other. It was just a perfect world. And, you know, so that's one thing that I can definitely say that the Mossi didn't do. That was sensationalize Africa. You know, you can go back, we got tons of videos on this thing right now, this archive that you can go and look in to verify what I'm saying. And each one of those presentations, whether it came from me or Sean or Ben or Unc, when Unc was on the panel with us, etc. We, you know, we told the truth, you know what I'm saying, whether it was good, you know, or whether it was bad, man. So, you know, we kept our you know, so I definitely, man, appreciate that, because there's been so many platforms and so many stuff that I still see today. I won't give my energy to it, but people today are still sensationalizing you know, Africa, you know, and telling these false, you know, these false fairy tales about Africa, which, you know, is not true, man. I got a question though. There's through this, through our journeys there, you know, you talked about people not agreeing with us because we went against the ancestors, those who came for us, those who works that we studied, you know what I'm saying? We've always been attacked by other individuals. And is that because, and even today, like, I'm a part of another group, and at times I don't agree with a lot of the stuff. I don't say a lot, you know what I'm saying? But I don't agree with a lot of the stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be considered the bad guy with a lot of the stuff. But how do we come out of that mentality where is it a lack of research methodology where we understand that we have to continue to. They feel like, or they have to regurgitate a lot of the information of the books that we read. Like if we go back and we look at John Henry Clark, we look at John G. Jackson, Chancellor. Well, we look at all these works. A lot of these books was written, man, like early on, man. You look at some of these books were written in 1960, 1950, 1970, right?
Yeah.
And the world that they was in, we no longer live in that world today,
Right.
but they still believing that everything that those ancestors said is to be, you know what I'm saying, is to be truth. Is that because of a lack of energy when we go against to say, nah, they didn't have, because I guess that because we have a scientific mind, we understand things about
Yeah.
science, and science is always involving itself over time. So is it a lack of research methodology for those people to continue to regurgitate that information that the ancestors laid out in those books that we talk about? Because we can pop off all these different books and names of all these different individuals, but is it? But that's what I'm saying. Is it a lack of research
Let me
methodology, and
answer
how
that.
do we
Let me
change
answer
that?
that because I gotta get ready to roll. But to answer your question, yes. You got to understand that there are different types of people in this community, and everybody doesn't have the same role. So we have collectively taken the scholar role, the scholarship role, the role of investigation, the role of disseminating information and producing products through scholarship. The people that you are most likely describing have not taken that role, but they understand information is important. They understand the importance of how transformative information can be. Unfortunately, since they have not taken the scholarship role, they lack the tools of discernment to look at things objectively and falsify them and give them its proper, context and situation. So they become regurgitators. Whatever so and so said is right. Whatever so and so said is right. Whatever so and so said is right. So it becomes more of a popularity contest more than the information that's being presented. So a lot of people feel like when they run into information to the contrary of their favorite historian or scholar, it creates a double consciousness, a cognitive dissonance in their mind, to where they can't go against or take a position against a body of work because so and so said X, Y, and Z. So tools of discernment, research methodology is key in these arguments, because this is how you get to the information and you falsify it, and this is how you make it even more palatable for people to even accept, because you show them how you came to the conclusion. And unfortunately, some people are just not going to get there because, like I said, that's not their role. They're going to continue to repeat works of the past and present that don't make any sense currently. Um, and it's not to me that we went against uh, the ancestors. I may have just went against your favorite one, because I never went against John Henry Clark. I never went against, some of the others that have come out. But difference of opinion shouldn't mean that we are disrespected. You know, um, life constantly evolves. What was true back then may not be true today. Hell, what was true yesterday may not be true today. So, in that context, we just have to continue to stress research methodology and look at every single claim, and use your tools of verification. Because if you don't have any tools of discernment, everything sounds good. Like said, the good talkers, the good orators, they sound great. until you look into what they are actually saying and take the claims and dissect the information and look at the references and look at the sources, and you'll start to see that a lot of this stuff just don't add up. So for me, I don't care who it is because we're talking about the information and it's not personal to me. A lot of people get these personal attachments. So that's when the emotion comes out. And I'm going to be the bad guy. That's fine. You can label me as such. But I can't, I love my people enough to where I can't perpetuate information that is questionable, that has not been through any type of methodology or what we can consider pseudoscience today. I love you so much, Black people. I can't, in good conscience, tell you something that I have not researched and can't verify that there's any credible information to support. And if I say it, I will say I have not researched this thoroughly. I can't do it because where we are trying to go as a people, I'm a former military man. Bad intel gets you killed.
Mm. Mm.
That's just what it is. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that. I'm gonna take my lady to this food festival because that's where she want to go. But man, I love y'all, man. Thank y'all for helping me build
Appreciate you, Ben.
this group, this ever changing phenomenon. Thank you, Sean, for continuing to put the videos out where I was tied up in life. Thank you, Kofi, for branching out and doing your thing and bringing it back. Thank you, brother, for all your influence and all the things that you've done. To all the Mossi members everywhere, I hope that blessings follow you. Live in your backyard, in your pocket as you go through life, man. I love y'all, man.
All right, man. Same here, brother.
All right.
So Kofi, so that was a great question. And I ain't gonna be as nice as Ben was, right? Because I just don't have to. But I'll make sure I be polished. And so actually the community was built on books like Dr. Ben's work, right?
Mm.
But this was actually published, and I believe one of them, this one was like, it says 1971. Okay.
Mhm.
And if you look at the text, he actually used a damn typewriter, yo.
Mhm.
Okay. So imagine that in your mind, right? Typewriter, right? Look at Sheikh Andy Diab's work. This was published in the first, from portions of it, from 1955, 1967, and this last one, 1974, right? This one. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
All right. These the pillars. I'm giving you the pillars. John Jackson, right?
Mhm.
Christianity before Christ, 1938. Ethiopia, Ordinance Civilization, Pagan Origins of the Christ Myth, 1941. Introduction to African Civilization, 1970. Dr. Willis Higgins, I got that. The God Study, this is 1937. And an Introduction to African Civilization, 1937. And this one was published, just from the later editions in 2000. You talking 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. So actually, we was already out of date with what we was teaching the people. We should have said these works are out of date, right? That's a mistake on my part, right? We was actually giving out of date work. It's okay though, but to uphold the standard would be to say these are out of date works, but in these works we got foundation of this, this, and this. So we never was the group of people, and I never will be around a group of people that's standing there and looking the damn teacher in the face. You know what I'm saying? Standing there, you know what I'm saying, at his feet. I rock with dudes that's gonna stand on the shoulders. I can't stand having people like that around me. You know what
Hold
I'm
on.
saying?
Feet washers.
Yeah, feet washers. You
Okay.
think you ain't really getting the knowledge. You ain't. Yeah, I ain't liking that. I like people
Oh shit.
that's gonna be renowned. You know what I'm saying? They can go on their own and build something. You feel?
Mhm.
I like that in men and women. I feel like I can't help you if you can't help me. If I always gotta be the damn help, what about when I need some damn help? You know what I'm saying? And so the foundation was weak in the first place. Nobody actually read Diop's work. Nobody actually read Dr. Ben's work, nor John Jackson's work.
Right.
They wouldn't know the mistakes they made anyway. They beat us up for years for teaching evolution when that's what the teachers was teaching. How about that part? And I'm saying, quote unquote, supposed to be elders. All the elders, from James Smalls to Infodisi to Shemaiah's, bless his soul, he in the Stargate. That's all that, right? Man, they howling and screamed about ain't no evolution. It doesn't make sense, bro. So what I'm saying is, even with the mistakes they made, it was par for the course because they was dealing with white authors who was outdated in the 1930s, 1800s. Read the sources. We was taught to read the sources, right? It's all outdated material. Some things are brought forward and some things not. Listen, yo, it's not a treatise against the elders when you say, well, that's now outdated. That's actually a compliment. Sean know, Kofi know that Shigant Diab said himself, there will be people that come after me that will critique and correct my work. Did he not
That's
say
right.
that?
He
Yeah.
said,
Right. That's
So
what
how is that ever disrespect? We never was disrespectful to the elders. We was simply standing on their damn shoulders. But I can't stand on your shoulder if it's broke. If I'm bringing bad information forward that they got, right? Because, we got periods of slavery. We not in discords. You know what I'm saying? You got to go to white people, Harvard, Yale, that, because that's just what it was, right? And some things white people got wrong, right? And you bring that material forward because it's outdated, it's just wrong. It's okay to say it's outdated, it's wrong. It's not a big deal. That doesn't make Dr. Ben any less of a scholar. That doesn't make John Jackson, that doesn't mean that. It means if you stand on their shoulder, you can only move the things forward that are still standing. You get that? And so the answer to that question is, I just didn't give a damn. I never was waiting for the elders to pass the torch. I just walked up, yo, give me that. I mean, that's what it is. At a certain point, you got to snatch. Don't snatch it and be wrong. You get beat up. Don't snatch it and be dead wrong. But it's okay, bro. And I respect James Small. That's like one of my good friends, man. Seriously. Right? And he said all the time, look, bro, you got more than I got. I can't see what you can see. I got to respect it. And for DC, I don't have no relationship with him. Right? But as a man, I appreciate him and what he do. I think he teaches super pseudo information, but it's a struggle. I'm saying, I realized that being scientifically literate to a lot of them was kind of an inversion, right? The elders we chose, Dr. Ben, John Henry Clark, John Jackson, Hubert Harrison, and them, they were standing on literacy and science and academia. We never went with DePhil Valentine to Delbert Blaze, although I've been friends with him, right? But we never actually stood on that. And so the elders that we chose, right, didn't have a problem with that. It's that next crop. DePhil Valentine, the Bobby Hymns, the Dale Blaze, the James Smalls, and all them, yo, they was moving in this trajectory. They didn't want to hurt people's feelings, right? And they wasn't carrying that mantle like that. We come along, yo, brass, and we wanted to continue the scholarship, right? You know what I'm saying? And so we continue that, right, wrong, or indifferent. The youngest gonna come by and say, nope, you got that wrong. I ain't mad at you, bro. Right? Don't come at with pseudoisms, I'm gonna beat you up. But come with some accuracy, right? Then we got it. So now, bro, we actually never disrespected anybody. It's in human nature, right, to not listen to nature. It's always this. If you watch a lion pride, at a certain point, right, the younger lion gonna get the older lion. Thank goodness it's scholarship for us, because now your accuracy is gonna have to be better than what ours was. You know what I'm saying? It's scholarship. It ain't fighting, it ain't running, it ain't who the toughest, who the loudest, who talk the sharpest. That's not what this is. This is how accurate is your study habits, right? I had to, I'm always saying, man, y'all way smarter than me. So I got to study harder than y'all. I got to take my time, dictionaries. I got to move it real slow. You know what I'm saying? I got to really move slow and really get it right, because I can't let y'all beat me up on nothing. I got to stand on that. I say all that to say, right? We just broke from tradition, bro. Right? We respected the elders for what they was, right? We didn't respect them for what they was not. Give them credit for what they did, right? And throw away the stuff they messed up, because that's proper. right? Same with African culture. If it worked, it worked. If it didn't, they threw it out. Same with science. If it worked, it worked. If it didn't, you throw it out, right? I just think, the things that make you renowned, like the Egyptians was renowned. That Northeast African indigenous culture was renowned for over 4,000 years. Nubia, 3,000 years, renowned. It was the culture, it was the transmitting of ideas, right? Through writing, through inventing this, through technology. I said they had team, technology, engineering, you know what I'm saying? Art and mathematics, right? The culture kept them here. But that same thing that kept them here when they ran into other people was actually their demise. So sometimes the thing that make you great at the end could be the very thing that make you lose. So you have to be able to shift. We're still hearing these conversations because we have made a shift, right? We have looked at our mistakes. We've decided to build on them. So if y'all can take any message to this, to have a vibrant community, the thing that make the community renowned could be the same thing that make the community fall. Be willing to change, be willing to learn, and stay open. I'll end with that.
That's a good one. For me, Kofi, it's hard to go behind Ben and behind answering that question because it's the same. Interwoven into that. I just think that, like you said, when you say we broke tradition, we didn't break tradition in a negative way. We broke tradition when other people broke tradition. So basically, what we did is we got back on the level of scholarship that the Dr. Ben's, John G. Jackson's, Chancellor Williams, Dr. John Henry Clark, we got back on, you know what I mean? The every other great person before that, right? The talented 10th. We got back to that because that what got John Henry Clark in the door? Schomburg. Schomburg inspired him, right? So Schomburg inspired him. Who these abos are running around calling tethers. One of the greatest minds to come before us was inspired by a quote unquote tether from their likings of how they want to define it, even though I call these abos tethers. So we got back to that because the people that broke away from those people who were influential in producing literature and putting forth information out there to the community to educate and articulate themselves to the minds of the people who were left out of history books. Let's just be clear. Africa had no light shining on it. It took multiple minds, right? Even Europeans, but it took multiple minds to shed light on that. So some of our best works come out of not only our greatest minds, but also some European thought, because they're also referenced in that body of work. But there's also some pseudo-European thought invested into that to throw us off. So we had to go through the literature reviews and deal with that. Like I put up a short about Dr. Clark. Dr. Clark comes out in the lectures and tell everybody, if you want to impress me, read a whole book.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if that's what he was saying then, imagine what the hell happened when he transitioned. It was far less reading going on, but these people were producing books. That's why, Kofi, you was buying a book and then you had no sources. You see what I'm saying? Because, they were going to publish something because they saw what the people did before them. But what they were going to be published was based on them being the source and no one else. So they can be the body of foundation of that particular work that went out to the people. And then you had a shift. So, like I said, we broke from something that broke from something else. Right? Remember, she wrote a book. What's the name of the book?
Broken Circle.
Urugu.
No.
Broken Circle. It's the white book. I got it somewhere on here.
That's it. That's the book. The broken, right? So all we doing is we're trying to come back to where we were and get people on that page. Because I will say this, and I said this years ago, and I'm gonna say it for everybody that's listening. Imagine Dr. John Henry Clark with the internet.
Oh man.
He doesn't co-sign the white the what's the caveman inheritance or whatever that book is called, the white inheritance.
That's what it is.
He don't
Right.
co-sign that book. He don't co-sign some other literature written by Europeans.
Go through
He corrects whatever he had before him, and then he gets it on par to align with everything else that he was right about. The same thing with Dr. Clark. With John G. Jackson and Dr. Ben and all the likes, right? And I'm gonna say this, and I even believe in my heart of hearts that Dr. Ivan Van Sertima would correct himself.
Yeah, me too.
Had he had the information we have today, right? And then that in itself would derail a lot of the conversations or arguments that I just instigate or find myself in when I get caught up in the foolery, and I just feel like shooting my gun at people on those days. So, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I do. I just wake up, depending on what side of the bed I'm on. I might just roll over. If I hit the live button and start shooting at you, it's just how I feel. But no, I mean, ultimately, it comes down to the fact that, man, we're willing to do something that the people before us didn't do to follow up on the people before them. They didn't stand on the shoulders. They wanted to be seen in the same light. That's why there was a break from the traditions of what was laid before that. Think about it. You had a Renaissance period. You had the Harlem History Club come out of a Renaissance, Black Renaissance. So what do you expect coming out of the Black Renaissance and the whole history movement come out of that, and then we fall from grace? We fell from grace. You can't tell me the Delbert Blair. You can't tell me, and not to disrespect any of these people. Phil Valentine?
Feel Good Valentine. Feel Good Valentine.
Haba, you can't tell me that they were doing. Come on, man. You can't convince me. Like one, and I love Baba Smalls respectfully. What book has Baba Smalls published?
No, he never. Yeah, I'm not right. It's not.
It's not a negative or a knock on him, but what I'm saying to you is, it is critical of us to get literature from him. What if YouTube vanishes? All the videos go away. We can't find them in the algorithm. If we're not downloading and re-uploading certain things and key moments of what he's saying, what if? You're right, they're what ifs, but we have them. My point is that he should always be remembered, right? But he should always be able to update and correct himself, because he's now in an era to where he can have the information to resolve some of the things and positions that he took 10 years ago. But now it comes down to will, and a lot of them aren't willing because they've been so heavily invested in after Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben passed away and transitioned, and all of those great authors before them and researchers and people that argue those points based on evidence and not emotions. They've been living off emotions for so long, so it's hard to render that back and then get back into the habit of retraining your brain, right? We're supposed to be training our brain every day. Our brain need to fight a fight too. So it is with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, Ken too late. Ken already asked him. Did they see the stuff? When Ben was on, I asked the question. Ken.
You have to be specific. That's why I'm saying, and you got to be specific. That's why I said you got to be specific when you ask that, because everybody's seen a star.
Man.
But did they see X, Y, and Z? The answer to that we already answered, so it ain't make no sense.
Hilarious, yo. We didn't put over the craziest person.
Nah, that's my answer, Kofi. We break away. So I'll be guilty of that. I don't mind being charged with that. I'll look like the bad guy all day long, because with the truth at when you feel very uncomfortable and your feelings are invested, That's where the truth at. Until you get to that moment where your feelings are invested and you're uncomfortable, you ain't trying to get the truth. You're just trying to feel good. You just want to keep on playing on your bias. But when you get to that point of where everything's challenged and it's right in front of you and you gotta go deeper, then that's when you're serious. If you ain't serious about nothing until you're ready to challenge your own beliefs.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fact.
see, that's deep.
That's a
But how
fact.
many of us willing to do that? That's a real. That's deep. Hey, Kofi, did you get the email, yo, on the book, yo? I sent you the
I
did,
just
man. I
when
checked
you
off
done it,
on the huh?
when you send it,
Man,
because
about a month ago. Check it. Check it.
I'm gonna have to go through the whole. I'm gonna have to go through
Yep,
them.
because I'm reading it now, and it's about time to put that out. I think I want to add the Needleham the Needham question to it. I think I'm going to write that.
I, bruh, I've been waiting on you. Well, you just improved. That's what I'm saying. You just
And
improved other stuff.
we know again the book is 5 years. Nahisi Jr.
So what is
No,
the
this is
stuff that you
good.
said? You said the stuff that you was gonna fix too. You said something you was gonna
I
add.
did. I looked over. Yeah, I looked over the sources. I got the while we here. Yeah, this is part two to it.
You were
Um,
you was
the
talking
guy.
about adding something too. To
I
one of the
forgot.
chapters. I can't remember exactly what it was when we was on the phone. But I just been waiting on you, man. I just been I can't do nothing without you.
Yeah, this is. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right now. It's pretty serious. I think everything. The sources is matching up right. Um,
Correct. Correct, Port. Just like in science, you got to have scientific integrity. You got to have the same thing in history. You got to have historical integrity to be able to deal with these subject matters. Period. Point blank.
yeah, I do. I do want to add some aspect of science here. The Needleham question. The Needham question of why did science kind of crystallize? Why did it mature in Europe and not in China or any other place when China was far advanced? You know what I'm saying? That's a perplexing question right there. And I kind of want to address that. And I guess we would call that an appendix or something. I could do it in the appendix, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like that. You set it up
Yeah,
like that, right?
yeah, you can.
I think I want to do that. But yeah, it's looking good. I got it. It's looking.
Well,
That's
you
all
just
right.
resend me what you done changed on there too, and then I'm gonna look. I'm gonna go back. You said about a month ago. I'm gonna try to go back in there and try to
Well,
find it.
no, I checked off on on I think the chapters or something. That first
Yeah,
thing you sent me.
yeah, because I always you have to approve before I
Yeah,
move
I
it.
approved. Yeah, I approved all that.
Okay.
I just want to. I think it's
That's
how many
okay.
chapters?
It's been a whole. It's been a year or something.
That's all right. Shoot, I'm getting around
Hey,
to it. How
so
many
y'all
chapters?
waiting on a book from Unc. These are the two people that you're blaming for the book that ain't released yet. These
All right.
you hear them? They can't hide from this. It's live now, and we have it documented that these people are responsible for a part two that we ain't got yet. And it's
Yeah, because they're going. I had to make sure because they're going to try to tear the book half to death. So I had to be real meticulous with what I said.
don't
Had to
even
make
matter.
sure I elevated from the first, from the first one. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I just don't even think, you know what I mean, quite like I, thought back then when I wrote this, right? And so it's really a progression of my philosophy and the way I see the world, but this is the foundation. And, I read this last night. I was like, wow, man. You know what I'm saying? A little small, but yeah, this next one is a little more complete. I go into John Edmondson a little bit, Al Jaheed. I go into Darwin. I go into the African museums, the house files. I mean, fossils, African fossils. European museums, the house fossils. I think I want to. I think I would like to add the needle him question, and I would like to add when in academia did they start actually saying the word Africa, the Egyptians are African. Like, in what museums did they first do it? Most people don't even know. From 1974, this is how slow academia moved, right? They had a display, and I believe it was a museum in Boston that actually talked about. They had a thing where they talked about the Egyptians being African, right? Right now, if you go to Cairo, they'll have an Egyptian section on one floor and the Sudan section on another floor, right? Okay, but they still not. But it's in Boston, not in Boston. It's in New York, in the Brooklyn Museum and the Boston Museum. where they actually, this is, what's this, 60 years later, where they actually say that the Egyptians are African. That's how long it took from that academic conference to now, right? To even say that. So I want to add those two little parts in there to show people that, man, academia moves real slow. Got to stay on top about game. And that's an interesting point for that. So I want to kind of, add them 2 points there and how slow science and academia is, man. I appreciate the fight, man. I don't want to keep y'all here too long, man. I appreciate the
Nah,
Mossi. Go ahead.
but the point that you just made about it taking too long is the same reason why people can't fall in love or marry the information to the T, because we made, and it's constant change and it's always ongoing, right? You said evolution, so the whole process of our learning experience is an evolution in itself. So as we begin to learn more, know more, some things will change, right? What's a scientific theory, right? So that information, the scientific method and the scientific theory and all of this conversations about science is to allow the information to come into us and then come out of us. That means we gotta learn it, and then we gotta know how to demonstrate it or understand it when we're articulating it. So if we find a new bone in West Africa tomorrow, that set us back, that moves the date or about a complete structure, and it moves the date 50,000 years from previously thought. Does that tear down the theory? No.
No, it adds to it.
It adds to it. And that's what we gotta be as students, right? Information, right? That's why you can't marry it. So we have to be able to be prepared and mentally capable of adding to it. And we also got to be even better at understanding that this is what it is based on the body of evidence that we have. We don't have evidence for a lot of the mysticisms, the mythology, and the other parts that has been going on in the community for years, and people been allowing it. So when we come out and we say, no, there's no evidence for that, then people look at us crazy. You still got people in 2026 that have a problem with DNA testing. That's a problem in itself, because your genetic ancestry is only defining who your relatives are. You're acting like doing genealogy is going to supersede your genetic ancestry. It's solidifying the story.
They ain't got no problem with doing it when they trying to get out of paying child support.
Exactly.
Let's run there. That ain't my child. Let's run there. Let's run.
Right. It's crazy, but no, I mean, I don't want to hold it hostage, but I'm just saying, like, our frame of thought is just off for some people. Yeah. It ain't everybody, but for some people, like, literally, technology has given us an opportunity to be able to put pieces of our puzzle together that we did not have before. And mainly it's helping more Black people because we the most scrambled up. We the gumbo here in America. We are, right? What are we doing with so many different West and Central African tribe or ethnicities in us? In one person. How is that even happening? And then people don't even understand what I'm saying, so I'm gonna break it down a little bit clear. So while doing my ancestry, right, and putting my tree together, my second great grandfather has 15 kids. 15 kids, 3 different women. Just in understanding that, and he married all 3. But just in understanding that there was admixture that transpired between 3 different groups of women that came from 3 different other places that are unbeknownst to me. What I mean by that, one was from Alabama, another one was from Kentucky, another one Virginia. How the hell did they get to those places? See, it all has to walk back. So if I can just do that with just my second great grandfather, imagine what the hell happened 200 years ago when they was mixing us all up. This is how we getting all these different ethnicities in us. And then a little pour into this European appearing, and I mean, it is what it is at that point. But we have to have the integrity to be able to understand technology and science, right? As it advances and it helps us put pieces together that are important and critical for us. We can't live off a mythical story. We don't know shit about Turtle Island. Don't belong to us, right? Don't belong to us. We ain't black, indigenous, aboriginal, nothing. Our story is way brighter than that. Not to disown whoever's story that is, but our story is way brighter than that. Our ancestors endured and overcame and defeated an enemy in a sense, right? I mean, because we still going through it, but defeated a problem that most other people couldn't have survived. Hell, they didn't. Look what happened to the indigenous people that populated the Americas. They endured so much so that diseases wiped them out. Look at the not to put it on other people, but other people that were enslaved by other people in other areas. They weren't able to survive those environments, and they succumbed to certain issues, and then they were defeated in those areas. Our ancestors did. Our story is better than everyone else's story because we survived those things. Now, did we win overall? Are we trying to win overall? That's that we don't know that. We wouldn't get that answer in our lifetime, but we got to do the work to make sure that our children's children can get closer to that answer, because there were people that died trying to get us closer to that answer than before. So that's what I mean by standing on people's shoulders, man. I ain't trying to be on no weak foundation.
No, not at all, yo. Not at all. Stand there and fall off. All fall down.
We did all this for nothing. I can't see that. Like Kofi, if Kofi pans his camera, right? Just in this one room. Mm-hmm. If Kofi pans his camera in just this one room, there's got to be at least over 200 books or more in that one room. Just in that one room. And then if he takes his camera off and go in another room, you're gonna find probably another 200 or 300 books in that room. That's not by accident. It's not. It's with an intent and purpose. And I guarantee you, how many of those books have you read, Kofi? You got your button pressed.
I said it's a lot of them I read, but it's a lot of them I hadn't read. You know what I'm saying? But there are a lot of them I have read. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a emerged reader now, so I'm reading 2 books. I was already reading 2 books at one time that I stopped, but now I'm able to read 2 books and then read them faster because I do the audio book thing. So I'm reading and listening to the audio book. I put the audio book on a certain speed, and I'm reading while I'm listening. I'm reading at the same speed as I'm listening, so I'm able to finish the book faster. So I've read a lot of these books, but a lot of the books I haven't got to read because I'm steady always buying books. I'm always buying books, but I'm always reading too.
I remember like buying books and buying like 6 books at a time. And then I'm like, that I would stop at 8. Cause then I know as soon as I open up the first book from the 6 that I bought, I know I didn't order 2 more other books because the book I'm reading, it referred to those 2 books. Right, so what I would do is when I would get the books and I would start to read the book, I'm gonna read that book, right? If it's a 200-page book or if it's a 150-page book, oh, it's done in a day or 2. If it's a 2 or 300-page book, it's done by the end of the week. So if it's a 600-page book, I know that I have it done by the end of the month. So I knew based on how many other pages it was, I was going to be able to complete those books in that time span. But what I've done is stop buying the books and then slow buy a book. And the reason that I began to do that and still accumulate the books is because I've been dealing with the pseudo world. And because I've been dealing with the pseudo world, I've been forcing myself to learn more in that moment of reading material, like Michael Gomez's book, and his emphasis on the impact of Muslims in the American world first is a key argument in a conversation with any abo that I'm willing to have with them, because these first blacks, which we're discussing and which they think that are indigenous, are not. These first blacks were people that came out of who just left the panel and who was just in the chat. Senegal and the Gambia region. Those are the first ones to be uprooted and then sent across, even if they went back into Europe and then into the Americas. Those are the first blacks, right? So when we put an emphasis on that and we start dealing with it, we now have them in a historical timeline they can't get themselves out of, right? So there is, that's why I did that. So buying that book, but I had to, in order to get to that book, I was already reading other books, but to get a proper understanding, because Gomez's scholarship is more up to date than the past books that were more, in the 70s, 80s, in that realm, in the 50s, 60s. That book was more modern, so it gave me more information from where he pulled from, and that's why I appreciate that process. But we gotta be willing readers, and we gotta also comprehend what the hell we're reading, because there ain't no way that us are reading the same book and you didn't understand page 29, paragraph 2.
Would have. They don't understand what would have mean. I argue with Reggie over would have. The Egyptians would have called themselves black if they did this, this, and this, but they never did.
And it just goes back to a conversation that everybody else has already had with Reggie on the subject matter. He trying to win a point. He trying to win a point on something that he ain't gonna win a point on, because the information ain't gonna just really say what Reggie's trying to get it to say.
Yeah, boy,
That's the difference between sitting on the feet, sitting at the feet of someone and standing on their shoulders.
Yeah, that's the difference. You bring all the information forward. Bad, good, mumble jumble, outdated. I don't know.
They didn't want that, man. They didn't want that. They want us be in the fight the same way they in the fight. We got to get in the fight, bro. We have when we was on the Shooow, Kofi, we had no problem saying, when Dr. Ben said something, we had no problem, and Wu Jiawu was strong on this point. Had no problem saying, nope, that ain't what it says. We don't know where Dr. Ben got that. Reggie had a problem with it, or some people in the community have a problem with it. But the reason that I said Wu Jiawu, because most people, when they see Wu Jiawu, they tend to have a certain level of respect or appreciates his integrity in a sense, because he ain't as disrespectful as me and Unc, right? So that's I'm being honest. Like Kofi, right? So if Kofi says it, I say it, and Unc, you say it, it ain't registering. But if Kofi said it, it may register because of the level of respect they have on him, because he ain't cussed them out. You know what I'm saying? We cussed them out. You can change your style. You can change your fighting style all you want. You already done cuss these people out that you changing your fighting style on, and they still see the old you. They don't see the new you. It ain't helping. You thinking it's helping, but it really ain't, because they done blocked you out because you done cussed them out. They remember the motherfuckers in your mamas. You know what I'm saying? they remember all of that. But but we saying the same thing. So, we gotta be.
Let me ask y'all a question.
Man, we gotta be
Man, who started the chefs?
Kofi and them.
I thought it was Kofi and them.
Kofi, Tepper Ra, all of them, they was taking the classes and they just kept meeting.
Yeah, we just kept meeting. We started it first. After we graduated from the class, and we just didn't want to we created a bond, because after the class, we would have these conversations all the time. So we created this friendship, this brotherhood. So we started the group. We started
So
the
why
group.
would y'all act like he stuff? Why he do that, man? Why he don't get proper? You supposed to get proper citations, bro.
He he
Why
came
he
in
don't-
late. He came in later on, and he gave us a historical name for the group
Yeah.
because we was called. I can't remember, but we was calling the group something else.
The
And
scribes
then,
of my eye or something.
yeah, something like that. And then he gave us
He
a
gave you the name.
historical name
I
for the
like
group.
that framing. I
And,
like that.
and then he
That
let
we
us. We did our thing. If you go back and look at the Shooow first couple of shows,
yeah,
there wasn't a
I
whoop out.
remember.
It was just us, and he was watching. Then he
Right.
then he started coming in. I think after he felt like we was serious and we was doing it. But yeah, the students started it. The students
I
we
just
all
like to get everything on the record, yo.
yeah,
I don't like no plan, act like you did something you didn't do. I don't do none of that. I want
yeah.
everybody to have proper citations for what they did and what they added to this thing, yo. I don't like that. I think that's cultish. I think that's wild and out of order.
That's
Everybody, I'm just saying
What
how I feel.
you blaming
Huh?
Wu? What Wu do?
He jumped in a science conversation with some ridiculous.
Oh, see, I knew you was. I knew you was.
why you saying that, Sean.
You know what I'm saying?
No, but I wanted to get. I actually that ain't it. But I actually wanted. I wanted to hear the. I wanted the people. Everything ain't got to be in the back, yo.
Yeah.
Right? Like at a certain point, yo, it's blood, sweat, and tears, bro. It's time away from your family, yo. You know what I'm saying? Kofi, it's time away from your son. It's time away from your wife. Same with you, Sean. Yo, we successful but we lost a lot of family time. I don't think people, realize that, man. We go through the ups and downs, man. We know the ups and downs of each other family, man.
Yep,
The
yep.
situation your son went through, your wife with the vaccine, same with you, Sean. Yeah, come on, bro. So when you do something, yo, get the damn credit for it. Say it the way it happened. I'm a
But,
stickler for that, bro. I
but
ain't,
one,
I ain't no Woo, I ain't mad at Woo.
yeah,
But
but one thing about me though, man, is I don't be giving a damn about like credit.
yeah,
I
I
don't.
do. I
You know,
do.
I mean, it's good to have, but I'm just
It's a
saying, I
record be
just
sold.
don't.
I've been arguing with Mika, man. You know what I'm saying? He been arguing with Mika about it.
Mika. Yeah, Mika act like, oh, you ain't do this with the mind. I'm like, Mika, come on. I know what I did. I know what Kofi did. Like, it's like she got a twisted history. Mika got a twisted history.
Huh?
She was an Israelite, so she don't know. So it's okay. At the time, all this was going on though. Like she was messing with them. You know what I mean? She wasn't
She got
really
a twisted
like
history.
you know that. Then she kind of fell in favor of Garfield. That's probably the best thing that happened to her when she
That's the
fell in
best thing that happened.
favor.
Mhm.
And Garfield and Asar kind of undid her mindset. But that was that. But we got a question in the chat that says, "Is it safe to assume the three of you support race first ideology? How do we undo what the Berlin Conference, Arab invasion, and European invasions, kidnapping did to us?"
I thought I was doing that. Every group I ever
Right.
started or thought about starting or started with, it was always that.
To fight against
And
it. Yeah.
yeah, it's fight against that. And I just think people get my message confused, right? Because the truth hurt at times, right? I think accuracy for what our ancestors did and didn't do is far more important than making them feel good. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times it's like us sitting here on this panel. We know we put in work, but yet keep fighting the same old way. Like there are things we have accomplished. You got to move forward. Like if you can go to a museum, right, and see that the ancient Egyptians are indigenous Africans, right? We don't. For me, I'm gonna let y'all speak for yourself. I don't got to play the 1700 racial construct where they name white people white, black people black, right? I like the indigenous Africans. What are they named? The Remish, right? I like that. I like the indigenous African names. I don't like social constructs, pseudo scientific social constructs pushed
Yeah.
on indigenous people that wouldn't have known it. You know what I mean, for me, I find that horrid and ridiculous. So I don't know where y'all standing on it, but I'm never calling Egyptians black. But they are indigenous Africans and they have a name.
They didn't call themselves black though.
Right, yeah, and I fought for hours against man. It just is too much. Like we don't even gotta do all that.
No, I get it. I mean, okay, so you always been a person to fight for Africa, right?
Yeah, I'm fighting for Africa.
You're still fighting for Africa, even in the fight.
Yep.
It's this trying to identify people that never identified themselves as such that seems to be the biggest issue because they want the presence, right?
Right.
They want to take today as an example, today and then put it on ancient and say this is no, but that still you didn't skipped over you 100 times and then went 1,000 miles away from you
Yeah,
to,
you all in the wrong place.
right, you to go over there and then meddle over there. But I understand why you're meddling over there because the European that meddled over there, the
Yeah.
Arab that meddled over there, and they didn't isolated themselves into trying to claim the history of a peoples and then weed the existence of the true Africans out of it. Notice I didn't say black. I said the essence of the true Africans in the regions that started that great period and run in history, right? And accomplish all those good feats and people look back at that as one of the greatest times in human history. Okay, cool. And I understand that black people, I'm saying black for Reginald, we in America, we want to attach ourselves to that greatness, but that ain't the only great.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
we West and Central Africans, y'all. I'm proud of my heritage.
right,
Like I ain't no Egyptian. I don't care what y'all say. I'm proud of my heritage.
right.
I'm proud of what they did, how they changed America. We can't hear you, Kofi.
Oh, my bad. I said me neither. I'm West African to the bones. I
Oh,
know
Yeah,
exactly
I'm
where
proud
we
of my
come from.
heritage.
I
And I ain't need Chief
appreciate
X to tell me that neither. That's another crock of shit.
yeah.
You ain't never. That's the part. Look, let me make this clear, bro. For the last at least 18 years, yo, we ain't been saying that the Egyptians is black nothing. So the indigenous Africans, we never thought on I'm Ross Squad, Mossi, pseudo killers, any of that we thought that we was damn Egyptians. That we never was a part of that, bro.
Mm.
No,
So I find it horrible when this dude try to step in and he ain't push no line over this way. I'm comfortable in my heritage and what part of Africa I came from. Even with the mistakes and misreading DNA analysis, I misread the test, add the Egyptian thing, and they was on the damn test. Nobody, there was no blueprint for reading DNA evidence when I did the first show on
we had to
taking
learn.
DNA tests.
We had to learn.
Had to learn that, bro. So that's what your enemies do. They take something 20 years ago, or the DNA thing. Man, come on, man. So no, none of these groups ever thought one, that we was Egyptians, and two, the damn Egyptians was African American, black, whatever the hell you want to say. We always talk about the indigenousness of them. We always fought for African agency. Y'all hear this word. We fought for African agency, right, wrong, or indifferent. It's good to see the anthropology is there now. Anthropology don't say that, they had the Trinity. They don't say that no more.
Yeah.
They said they had their own unique way of seeing nature. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to have one God. I remember people used to fight for one God. We never did that. We never said the Africans had monotheism. No, they had what they had. And what is it that they had? Let's please describe it. What was I'm not talking about? He just wanted to glorify the sun, and he had the rest of the deities there, right? It's called African agency. So these groups was always based on African agency. What did the ancestors say? We never thought we was damn Egyptians, right? We always understood they was indigenous. My whole thing was the African, not they black. I said they indigenous Africans to the continent of Africa. That was always my argument because academia was saying different. It was saying it was Mediterranean, Oriental studies. You know what I'm saying? That's always been our legacy, bro. And I can't believe that Chief X did that. You know what I'm saying?
He got the conversation.
Yeah, you ain't even getting a conversation. But it was an ugly one. It got ugly. The conversation got ugly.
I'm based on what I know now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Based on what I know now, it's some people that shouldn't have ever been in the conversation. You have to remember, this whole Egypt thing was a phenomenon.
Go ahead.
The Egyptian thing was a phenomenon that has carried on since then. Like, let me give you an example. Dr. Ben spoke more on Egypt, then Dr. Clark would speak on Egypt. Dr. Clark was over there in West Africa or
Right.
Central Africa most of the time highlighting those things. But Dr. Ben, he left that to Dr. Ben. Dr. Ben wasn't in Western Central Africa speaking on certain aspects of certain things. His thing was to argue the presence, right? So the agency of Africa there on the backbones of some other works like Diop. He was in Senegal. What are we talking about? But he's still in Senegal. He's still doing whatever he was doing, but he was also arguing for African agency over there in Egypt. That's the only reason that he would go in front of a symposium, him and Obey, and argue on the point, right? So we have to remove what the way we're seeing the world today and the way that people were seeing the world back then, because you can't infuse those two. That was one thing that Wu has been consistent on, because every time this color thing pops up, he steps all the way back from playing shades, right? The crayon box. But then I think what's been consistent with all the groups is being on target and on par with the information. And yeah, we could intra argue, right? Because even in intra arguments, all we did was bring a back chat to the front.
Yeah.
For everybody confused, some of these topics were back chat conversations that public would never even hear about.
Right.
But now they're in the front because everybody respectfully has matured in their own areas. Now it's about divvying down the information and then getting to those points. And I mean, listen, Smash can cuss me out. I'm still gonna like Smash. I'm still got his music. You know, he just dropped some new stuff not long ago. So yeah, so still listening to him, but he cussed me out 1,000 times. I ain't gonna take away from, you know, I ain't lost respect for him or anything like that. I just think on this point, he lost. And he don't see the same thing with Reggie. Yeah, we call him a footologist and all these other things, and he loves to do all these different things, right? But I still have I met Reggie. I have a level of respect for him because not only did I meet him, but I appreciate what he's done along the way, even though he could be dead wrong on this particular point. But we just got to do a better job of just sticking to what the information's saying, man. We ain't, putting that extra sauce on there. Everything don't need an extra sauce. Wu ain't coming back, bro. Wu busy.
Yeah, Wu ain't coming back.
Listen. For anybody that's looking for Wu, and I'll tell you this right now. Wu is still teaching Metal Nature on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So if you want to holler at Wu, and he'll have a conversation with you on any subject matter after class or in the middle of class, because it's easy to get him off subject. He will do that in the class, and I got the link to the class. So I can hit the link, and he probably on there right now talking to the class. My point is that he just ain't out here. He's still doing his work, and he's
Yeah, in his head he think it's ridiculous, foolery. That's why I'm like, man, knock it.
right. But he ain't coming outside. I don't know. Monk might be able to bring him out. I ain't gonna lie to you. If
talk a little trash, he'll come out.
Yeah. If anybody get Wu out, Unc said enough. He can get Wu out because Wu will show up to argue with Unc on anything, and then they gonna laugh.
He'll pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah. Then they'll laugh about it, and then Wu will go talk.
Yeah, we want to hear your stance on it, Wu Jai. We want to see you. I see you comment on the Facebook post.
Yeah,
we want to hear your stance on it.
And Sister Tunica, then both of them, they kind of faded to the back and just stayed entrenched in just trying to teach people, man. And that's what they doing. And ain't nothing wrong with that, man. They still doing.
He do that best. Wu Jai do that best, man. He's an excellent Meta Nature teacher, man. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, and sometimes we don't know what our weaknesses is. You know what I'm saying? But We all have our strengths and weaknesses, man. And
You definitely don't agree with Reggie.
no, anybody agree with Reggie. Reggie don't even know what STEM was. It messed me up, yo. I said I can't even argue with Reggie no more. Once I realized he don't know what STEM, he doesn't realize the technology predates science. That I was mad. I was like, what, bro? That's why you know what I'm saying? The nomenclature. You know what I'm saying? It's STEM, yo, or STEAM, right? Technology, engineering, and math. Technology predates engineering and math, and somewhere in there, engineering and math kind of cross. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the ancient world was masters of quote unquote, I call it team, technology, engineering, arts, and math. They was masters of that.
Yeah.
Based off of that, later on, civilizations will build on it and will start to develop the scientific method in other things. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But to be the masters of team or TIM, you know what I'm saying, would allow you to build a pyramid. They don't know the difference between metallurgy is not science, right? It's technology. You know what I'm saying? People don't know those distinctions. Agriculture is technology. Animal husbandry is technology. Now, today, now we can incorporate that into science. So now you have agricultural science. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Thanks.
People don't read the thing. They think it's a shot against Africa. It's not a shot against nothing. There is no science without 350,000 years, right? Or 160,000 at pinnacle point where they learned to crack open the first shellfish. They shellfish eaters. They
Right.
manipulate iron ochre, right? They keep a temperature at a certain rate to be able to manipulate the tools that they would use to help them to
Yep.
defend themselves and manipulate their environment. That's way more important than knowing the chemical compounds of the iron ochre.
That's a
You would
fact.
literally, you would literally have to bump into the United States, Americas, because that's what
Now, say
Europeans did.
that again.
I say, go ahead.
No, say it. Say it.
It is more important at 160,000 years to develop a technology, right, to keep that fire lit at a certain rate, to melt it, to be able to manipulate that tool that can help you provide food, clothing, shelter, and protection, than it is to know the damn element chart and why. You don't need to know the why. You're doing. And we did for 350,000 years. We developed medicine that worked. You don't need to know, you don't need to know the active ingredient, right? Which an African scientist did that, African American scientist did that. You know what I'm saying? He unlocked the secret magic. You don't need to know that. You need to know if the different herbs are working or not. You don't need to know why they working. You don't need to know why they stop working. We'll find another batch or something. People don't get that, bro.
Right.
It's damn near it's indigenous traditional knowledge and a whole lot of luck on Europeans, right? You got the House of Wisdom. We didn't talk about the House of Wisdom.
There's a lot
Al
of
Jahid. We didn't talk about how they translated ancient Greek texts, right? We talked about the day with Ptolemy. We talked about that. We also talked about how from the House of Wisdom they started developing framework, right? That would later on crystallize in another place. But without that House of Wisdom, without the ancient text, without the Greeks studying in the learning centers of their time, which is in the Nile Valley, you don't even get to that. So I thought people understood history. I had no idea they was going to be nuts about it. I just didn't. I didn't know that they would marginalize African civilization, specifically West Africa. They don't even bring it up. They had Egypt had time. They didn't have that. They had the precursors to it. They had pre-scientific ideas, right? They didn't have that.
nothing
What
wrong
about
with
West
that.
Africa?
Nothing wrong with that.
Why, how can it be something wrong with that?
Right.
Who is robbing the Egyptians?
Right. It's
West
evolution.
Africa reached the golden age. Who is robbing Songhai? Going? I'm not like, what are we talking about? Like it's crazy. The ancient people don't write about them like that. The Romans was like, man, the Candace queens, they was like, they was reading, they was like, oh, they serious. So the ancient world respected our thing more than African Americans respect our thing. The
Right.
Romans didn't even have science. They thought it was magic. They worked off of technology and engineering and they mastered their world without it. You know what I'm saying? So listen, man. You know, we always on that side, Sean. People just don't understand, bro. I'm never knocking Africa. That's my favorite thing. You know what I'm saying? It's to talk about Africa. It's to have groups like this to talk about the real Africa. You know what I'm saying? Yo, we laugh in the back chat. Oh man, they got us spooked out. We were like, yo, they all spooked out about Africa, yo.
Yeah.
So look, man, look. Hey, if you think that they needed something that's a world endeavor, it's a human endeavor. These groups have always talked about what Africans did and did not do. If you think it's important for them to have something before they time and need it, that's on you. Then you're not respecting the tradition. You think our tradition, right? I tell you what the mistake is, Kofi. This is what you should never do. You should never take an African civilization at 740, right? Or 300 AD, or 3000 BCE, or 160,000 BCE, and put it up against a civilization in 2026. No one does that. That's not the accurate way to study history.
Nope.
It's apples and oranges.
Yep.
You got to judge them with the people of their time.
Mm-hmm.
And when we judge them with the different cultures of their time, we see the gap. We see how they outpaced them. You know what I'm saying? That's the measure. Not what we do, not how we think. Is you only learn about Africa when you study Africa and allow the ancestors to speak. That's the only way you can learn about Africa.
That's a fact. That's definitely a fact. Hey, but y'all, man, I gotta get off here. I gotta go to I'm gonna shoot my wife busting. We gotta go. We going to New Orleans today, man. I got to drive to New Orleans.
Okay, what y'all finna go down there do?
One of my best friends, he stay in Washington. Him and his wife coming to celebrate his birthday, and they got some people coming. So we just going down there to celebrate his birthday with him tonight. That's
dope.
Yeah, man.
Y'all fellas, man. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to channels, man. Appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah. Man, give me a call. I'm gonna call you tomorrow, man.
Coming tomorrow.
We gonna try this again, man. Try to go and get this band book out here, man.
Y'all hear this.
I'm waiting on up.
Nah, we're gonna get it out. We just was reading it, yo. It's just super fire. I don't think the world should be missing out.
Yeah. I'm gonna call you tomorrow evening, man. When I get back from New Orleans, I'm gonna call you then.
All right, I'm gonna write up the Needleman joint. The Needleham thing. I'm gonna write that up because I want to add that in it. I'm gonna write that up, and the other part. All right. So, all right, man. Appreciate y'all.
All right, man. Peace, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate everybody tapping in. You heard, make sure y'all subscribe. I mean, I think everybody should already be subscribed to everything. I think Unc's got the community of skeptics, and Unc, what else you got? Pseudo killers, and then what else?
And still the Raw Squad Media.
And then the Raw Squad Media groups, and he got information on all the channels. I mean, remember, Unc lost like about 100,000 subscribers, and
they forget that,
and a wealth of information that existed that probably would be useful to a lot of people today, especially those of you who are new coming into information or being introduced to any of us at all. And you can see why things transpire the way they transpire. But yeah. So I ain't gonna hold everybody up, man. We gonna end it right there. A good 3-hour show.
When you going live again, Sean?
Probably be live later on.
Who you trying to get? Who we gonna get?
Well, just to be honest, since we on this subject matter right now, I want to go at I want to deal with the civil war inside of the Aboriginal community between
you turn the camera back on.
Calvin Denzel Roberts and Chief Holiday. Right, I want to revisit a conversation between the two of them that they had to show you how full of ish these people are in trying to push their pseudo propaganda. And you're going to hear some things in between the two of them because one, Holiday is against Calvin Denzel Roberts, which is known as Aboriginal Power. He's against him being FBA and using certain words or talking points, trying to grift off of FBA. And then he is saying that from an identity perspective, they can't do that. And then they can't call themselves Americans because if those are things that Calvin Denzel Roberts, otherwise known as Aboriginal Power, he is of the belief that he is the first peoples that the Europeans saw. However, if they use the term Americans, then that gives status to the Europeans as well, the white people as well. So now there's a clash. So he don't want to use. So Holiday don't want to use the word black because that allows white, and he doesn't want to use American because that allows white, and so he wants to be the indigenous. And I don't know how the hell he gonna make that work because the moment he tried to use that, genetically speaking, he has none of that. So he's just going to argue against. And then Al Powell grifting off of what's the dude name? Tariq. Him grifting off Tariq trying to recruit and get his members. You know, he kind of finagling everything to get his viewership.
Who you talking about? Aboriginal Power?
Yeah, Aboriginal Power. Well, you know him as Aboriginal Power. I know him as Calvin Denzel Roberts.
Oh.
Name.
I heard your man was talking spicy too.
Yeah. So we
Holiday. Spicy. Yeah, they had me there. I heard he was talking a little spicy. Man, they never beat us in the conversation. None of them have. At no point has any of them ever had any sway in any conversation we had with them. Yeah, but I done beat up a whole panel of cowboys and Indians on a regular occurrence. I ain't even had to bring in the big gun Sean. You know what I'm saying? Sean the big gun on that conversation. I ain't had to bring him in on that. So listen, bro, let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Tap me in. I'm coming off the top rope with the elbow on them clowns.
Yeah, I'm gonna try for a couple of hours from now. You know what I'm saying? So I can kind of get some stuff done, and then definitely want to get into that because I really want to replay that exchange between the two of them because I want people to see just how far they're willing to go to pseudo this thing up and confuse black people in America. Period. I just want to show you it's an identity crisis and it's got to be disseminated. But I also want to defend who I need to defend in that I felt like was disrespected in the conversation. Yeah. I want to
disrespectful little F's, yo. That's what they is, man. They're disrespectful. That's the point. Y'all disrespectful. We always know when we won the conversation, Sean. When they start going into our backgrounds and disrespecting us, yo, we know the conversation is over with at that point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's simple, like it's over with. It's an intellectual gunfight. You throw your gun. That means you have no more information, no more validity in what you're saying. At that point, they just clowns to me. Simple. So yeah, I'm on their head. CJ Holiday, he ain't never had a conversation. Think about that, yo.
Never.
Ignorant as hell.
Never.
He didn't memorize a whole lot of twisted up nonsense. Come on, man.
Man, a lot of listen, and even in the discussion that we'll hear, he's going to tell you that he is the source of the information, like he has done many times before. And anytime you hear a fool tell you that he is the source of the information from him, that means you need to get the hell away from him.
To get away from him, yo. He ain't done no archaeological digs.
No, he just misinterpret the data. We'll pull a source up. He'll ask you for a source and never give you one.
Never. Remember that when a person never give you a source, you're the only one using sources, yo?
Yes.
That's a tell. That's a tell. They had no argument, yo.
They appreciate it.
I see the pseudo killers in the chat, man. Big up to all the pseudo killers, man. Known and unknown. Known and unknown.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, I'll probably be in a couple of hours. I'm gonna go handle this business, and then I'll set it up, and I'll send it to you when I get ready. Right. Yeah, we'll get it in. So appreciate everybody tapping in, man. We're gonna end the stream on that one. Make sure y'all go like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate everybody tapping in, and we out. We got an outro on here.
What I'm trying to say in the final analysis, once we take control of ourselves, we have to stop being imitators and be innovators. We realize we've got a continent 12 million square miles Wherever our bodies are on the face of this earth, our cultural and political heartbeat is in Africa. Whether you ever go to Africa or not, that is your home, that is the home of your spirit, and that is the heart and meaning and definition of your commitment. And none of us, any place in the world, will be free until that continent is free.
The Mossi Warrior Clan was created because myself and others like Brother Nahisi saw a need for a young African group to analyze information concerning the African phenomena with no bias, with rigor, and with scholarship. We created the Mossi Warrior Clan for the purpose of being an expert research team, of being a team that produced products, a team that was capable of producing products for African people globally to dispel myths, rumors, and provide them with accurate scholarship.